Ah, it is the 10th of April, the year of our Lord 2024. This is the weekly album, the longest running weekly live stream held on YouTube. Um, I think somebody actually like posted or something like it was like we're now 8 or 9 years or something. Not quite, but we're getting there.
Getting
Eventually,
there.
eventually we'll hit that mark or whatever. Oh,
Can't wait.
how are you?
Uh, okay, I guess. It's been a rough week. My hands are killing me. Not from frog lumping. Yeah.
Come off.
Uh, I just overworked them. That's all.
Oh yeah, go on.
Well, we finally got a break in the weather. My back was feeling all right, so I started yard work. Yeah, and then I've been trying to learn bar chords for the last week, and it's really jacking them up. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a break with them for a couple of days. It's the week of doing shit twice. Yeah. How you
Uh,
doing?
I don't know, just day to day, whatever. Uh, big bunch of nothing. Um, uh, yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
I know it's really dull and boring.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
I prefer the boring.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we get a good turnout for the last official uh whatchamadick, the initials before I have to start making them
Uh,
myself.
yeah. I don't know if Scott's going to is on the road or not. I talked to him early. He wasn't sure. So
Um, he's on the road. Where's he going?
uh, the gathering.
Oh,
But like I said, I talked to him this afternoon. Texted him this afternoon. He wasn't sure if he was going to leave today or not. Night or not. Ain't he?
little flip of the hair heading to the
Little
gathering.
flip of the hair. Nah.
Stop
You
it, go away.
jealous? Nobody ever invited you?
It's weird that I never was. I mean, it's weird that like I mean, I never. And we've talked about this in the past, but I mean, and I think I mentioned it, Anthony. I mean, I never. I knew people that basically begged to be invited, and I always kind of felt like that. I mean, fine, if you want to do that, that's fine. Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
um, but I just figured it would be when I was, doing the channel, and everything. I guess I just assumed if somebody had thought that I would have been a good attendee, um, somebody would have nominated me, along the way. And then
But
when
then they
I'm,
found the real you and decided not to. I understand. Nah, I'm
mm,
sure. I don't know how that works. I know you got to be invited, but I mean, uh, like I'm not sure the ins and outs of the invitation thing. But not everything has to be open to the public either.
yeah,
I don't even want to go.
I don't think I would want it. 10 days like that.
Screw that.
and I've heard a rumor that like if you're invited and you don't like go at least for like most of the days, like it's like frowned on, like. And there's no way
I
on
don't know
earth I
about
would go. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard. I don't know anything. I mean, this is just it's a big whatever. So,
yeah,
but whatever.
but whatever. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm good.
You're good. I was actually thinking about you a little bit earlier. Me and Jen were talking about trains, and you came into mind with the model trains.
Yeah.
Although we were talking about real trains, how I got hit with a rock by one when I was out in a blizzard. But
You got hit with a rock.
Yeah, a rock must have been on a rail, and we were by a high speed one. It just flew by us, and 1 minute I'm standing, the next minute I'm on my knees. I didn't know what hit me.
Damn.
I asked my uncle, I was like, "What the fuck was that?" It's just it hit me in the knee. It bruised up quite a bit too. Yeah, we were talking about that was at the blizzard '96. We were talking.
You got shot with a piece of ballast.
Yeah,
Amazing.
like I said, it was that thing was flying like it had to be doing 80 coming by us because it wasn't a passenger stop. It was specifically for the express line there.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of shit I did out in the trees are pretty crazy now thinking back on it. Yeah.
Do we have any special guests tonight, Lance?
Nobody's speckle. I mean,
I don't know if
um,
you invited someone who's got a Kickstarter or something.
no, I mean, I told Mark anytime he wanted to come back, he was welcome, and he said he'd let me know if he ever was interested. So we might have scared him away though. So
Probably.
you never know.
Most people can handle 4 or 5 hours, Lance.
Was it me yelling at Forrest?
No, it could have been that. Yeah. Yeah. Poor Forrest. It's like a dog. He just keeps coming back.
So was your WrestleMania everything you thought it was going to be, Lance?
Yeah, but
I want to
it.
wait for Forrest to be here. There's a lot of people saying it was the best WrestleMania ever. I think it definitely is up there. It's one of the better ones they've ever had. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's no longer Vince McMahon. Copper, get down. Get down.
What if he answers
Yeah.
you back?
No, he's up. He's climbing up on top of the couch. Yes. Just hey, get him down. Well, then don't have food down here if you're worried about him getting at your food.
He's worried about not having my food.
Anyway, sorry about that. But anyway, yeah. So there was a lot about it that was, that was awesome. It was pretty amazing. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys don't really give a shit about wrestling, so
Nah.
me talking about it really has no point. So I'll just wait for Forrest to get here when and if he gets here.
I
And
just
he and
wondered
I
if it
can
was all
discuss it.
you hoped it would be. That's all.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it was. I mean, you can't. They can't all be great matches, right? There's a lot of stuff that was just not that didn't hit the highs that some of the matches did for me. But for the most part, it was really well done. And I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like there are wrestling matches that I have watched that absolutely got like bigger reactions out of me when I was watching them. WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan is probably, as far as an actual like match goes, like just not really good as far as like the actual physicality that was performed in the ring. But as far as like the crowd reaction and how insane that was and how it basically, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat leaping around. I was at a buddy's house. We were watching it back when like you paid for a pay-per-view. And we were leaping out of our seats repeatedly. Just it was like that's probably like the best match as far as like drawing up the emotions in me. But and like watching Mankind get thrown off of the top of the cell at King of the Ring in '98. I mean, you can't. It's hard to believe that happened, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you didn't know if it was by a mistake or if they tried to do it, stuff like that. So it's tough to match those highs, but um,
So
you know,
Hogan slamming Andre was not one of the top ones for you.
I mean, like I was a kid then, right? So so as a kid, you don't really grasp it as much as you do. Um,
think
you know,
like that.
the best match of that night was the match before that. You know, just for the Intercontinental Belt with Randy Macho Man Savage and oh, why can't I think of his name right now?
Jake the Snake.
No, the Dragon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Um,
Ric Flair's favorite opponent.
they had they had a absolute barn burner of a match, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat kicked out after not one but not one, not two, but three elbow drops off the top rope. I mean, nobody kicked out from the Macho Man. And he kicked out, and not only did he kick him out, he rolled him up in a small package and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And Macho Man had held the belt for, gosh, it was I think a couple of years. I mean, it might be off on the timeline, but that match is considered by many as one of the greatest matches of all time. Why? Because they practiced it for weeks ahead of time. And they knew exactly where they were going to be at any given point.
But I thought wrestling was real. What do you mean practice?
Nobody has ever thought it was real. I think that is like one of the biggest bullshit comments that people have to put up with that actually enjoy wrestling. There was a time in like the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s professional wrestling where it was like people had to guard the fact that it was real, like that it was fake. Like for like the kayfabe, the protection of the kayfabe was like a real thing. It was like something that, but even then, like in the 50s and the 60s, people were in on it. And the people that watched it were in it. Yes, there were a few that probably like, well, yeah, this is real. This is like not, but even people aren't stupid, right? They see people stomping the mat when they punch, I mean, they know how fights really work. Nobody sits there and lets somebody punch them in the face over and over again and then doesn't get affected by it. And I mean, that's one of the things, like, and it's just, and I get it. It's like, it's an easy cop out, like, drag to do on it. But I mean, it's like when somebody says, "Oh, it's fake," right? Yeah, and just like the movies I watch are fake, but I still get excited. I still get excited when I'm watching a Mission Impossible movie because it's thrilling and it's exciting, and that's the same thing when you're watching wrestling. It's thrilling, it's exciting. You're watching people do feats of strength and agility that are like in the top like percentile of human beings in the world, and they also manage to tell a story as well. And that's like when that marriage of the story with the physical ability. I mean, it's something that just doesn't exist outside of that realm. And I don't know. Sorry, I'm not trashing on you. I know, Barry. You're just making fun. You just taking little jabs. I get it. I'm not
Not me,
mad.
never.
No, I just but I mean, yeah, I mean, I just think that's such a, I mean, you could say, wow, this is really boring, or this is really stupid, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, if you like watching Survivor, I think that's stupid. I think that's
So
not
do I.
interesting at all.
See, here's the thing with wrestling for me. Every once in a while, I'll be flipping channels and I'll come across it, and I'll watch it. And I watched wrestling a lot, like when I was younger. But I think the storylines, the story part of it, is
It's
so ridiculous now.
thin.
So the thing was, it's like, so here's the storyline that like that this is to me, it's like they do long-term storylines with payoffs that happen years down the line. So this is a spoiler. So if you haven't read the results for WrestleMania, if you haven't watched Raw, like that announced who won and who lost in the major matches, I apologize. Turn the volume down. Don't listen to what I have to say. But at the end of the final match, after Roman Reigns had held the belt for 1,316 days, the fourth longest in the history of WWE wrestling, and former WWF, within eyesight of Hogan's 1,411, I think it was, days. Cody Rhodes and him were going at it, and there was, a bad guy runs in to help out, and then a good guy runs in to take him out. A bad guy runs in to help out. A good guy runs in. A bad guy runs in to help out, and at one point, Seth Rollins, a good guy, came in to help out Cody Rhodes. The background story is he used to be part of a group called The Shield. And The Shield was Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. And they were like this faction that looked out for each other. They were bad guys, and that slowly kind of turned good because they were super over with the crowd. And then at one point, Seth Rollins broke up the Shield by hitting Roman Reigns in the back with a chair out of nowhere because he was jealous of Roman or whatever, and he was the bad guy. So here he is now. Seth Rollins has been a good guy forever, and he comes in to help out Cody from the evil Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns like gives him a Superman punch to knock him out or whatever, but he's still in the ring. And Roman Reigns, who's held the belt, he's in control. He's got everything. All he needs to do is pin. There's nobody else to help Cody anymore. He has a chair in his hand. All he has to do is hit Cody Rhodes over the back of the head, knock him out, pin him. Done. But he looks over, and there's Seth Rollins, who he's never got revenge against in 6 years. He has yet to get revenge against Seth Rollins. And he turned his back on Cody, and he lost focus for a brief second, and he clobbers Seth Rollins to get revenge on what he did to him all those years ago. And that gives him the moment of time for Cody Rhodes to give him a super kick, give him a crossroads, and pin him 1, 2, 3, and take the championship. It is storytelling that literally took over half a decade to complete, but they did it. And people like think, oh, it's just fucking wrestling. It's like, no, if you're a fan, you have these things that are just so well done, and they're really in their own way, they're poetry. And it's just kind of like, and yeah, okay, there's a bunch of goofy guys running around and like guys leaping off of ladders and landing on people, and you can see that stuff, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stupid shit too. You're like, that's dumb. But sometimes you just click everything together, and it's better than anything that you can possibly watch.
And were you excited about the how the Mysterio fight ended?
Well, I mean, like it was so obvious. I mean, the one guy had the giant beard, so you knew who he was, right? But that's just a hometown crowd pop, right? I mean, that's like WrestleMania is the one where they try to send everyone home happy. That's like what they usually are going for to do. And so they when they had the two guys that one retired now, but two guys who play for the Eagles come out wearing luchador masks that are Philadelphia Eagle themed. Hey, that was obvious. It's obvious what they did. They came out and they helped the good guys win, right? And then they got to stand in the middle of the ring, and they got to take out their shirts and take out their luchador mask, and the hometown crowd got to pop for their Philadelphia Eagles. And they got a pop for Jason Kelsey, who's probably like the most, like, of all the people that were on that last Super Bowl team, like he's probably the most beloved of any of them, right?
I love him. I don't even like the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's just hometown pops. I mean, look at the fact that like in the final match, it's like, they had John Cena, 48-year-old John Cena, like comes out, to do a run-in, like, his music hits, and like that's the Undertaker came out of nowhere to choke slam The Rock, who's a bad guy again. I don't know. It's just good stuff, and whatever. It's like, and it isn't for everybody. Just like not every movie's for everybody.
Oh,
Just like not every TV show.
If you enjoy it, that's fine. All I really want to know is if it was up to what you hoped it would be.
I mean, there are things, right? I mean, the one thing I really liked about it is that it's something that my son and I enjoy, and we laugh about. he's sarcastic about it, and he cracks wise, and we make fun, and we make jokes, and it's and sometimes like he's sitting there staring at his phone or whatever, and that's fine. I get it. Like he isn't as into it as I am. But if I say, hey, let's pay attention to this one, this is gonna be a good match, he'll put his phone away, and then he'll sit there and watch it. And so yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, and he has his favorite wrestlers. He loves AJ Styles. He loves Miro, things like that. So it's just, and it's just, so I like that. I have a real good, it's something that he and I enjoy. And like my daughter used to kind of watch it and kind of dug it, but then it kind of fell out. And my wife will kind of watch it, but she kind of thinks it's silly. She'll humor me by watching it every once in a while, and I appreciate that a great deal. But um, it's just one of my favorite memories of wrestling. It's weird. There's this wrestler named Bailey, and she's almost always been a good guy. Every once in a while she turns heel, but when like she always would trust her friend Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks would always end up betraying her constantly. I remember one time my wife was watch this cage match or whatever, and it's always people fighting, and Bailey trusted Sasha Banks to like do right by her, and of course, Sasha did something horrible and like knocked her off the top of the cage, and so she fell into it. And she's like, "Oh, Bailey." I just always remember that when my wife said that, because like I was like, for that brief moment they got her, they got her into the story. She was just like, "Oh, don't trust her, don't do it. She's just gonna turn on you."
So I think one of my favorite wrestling moments now, and I never saw it when it happened the first time, but I was watching the Ric Flair documentary
Yeah.
and his last fight against Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah.
When Shawn Michaels,
Sadly, it wasn't his last fight. He
Well-
came back and did it again. But yeah, go ahead.
but the fact that right before Shawn Michaels takes him out and pins him, he says, "I'm sorry, I love you."
Yeah.
He says, "I'm sorry, I love you," and he
Yeah.
goes and clocks him.
Because it was if he beat him, Ric Flair was gonna retire. That was gonna be his, and everybody knew. Everybody knew he was gonna retire. Everybody knew it was gonna be his last match. But and he picked Shawn Michaels to be the one to retire him, and of course then um
He needed more money.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Yeah, that was a good documentary. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the wrestlers actually. I watched one on what's his name, Dustin Rhodes Kid.
Gold Dust.
Yeah. And then oh, who was the other one? Jake the Snake. That was sad what happened with him. The drugs and shit. But there was another. Oh, the one who was in the Olympics and then went full time with
Angle.
the WWE. Angle, yeah. What he went through, he broke his neck a couple times and kept doing it and shit.
Yeah, but those are like the dark side of wrestling ones. So the
That
Ric
one
Flair
might.
was a totally different one altogether.
No, the Ric Flair wasn't. That one might have been. I don't remember. The one with what's his name? The one from the Olympics. No, the Ric Flair one was a couple years old.
Yeah.
so either of you have a Dragon Magazine Volume 1, issue 1 by any chance?
Oh yeah, right here.
I saw one went for $1,200, like just in like seconds in an auction site. Like they were like starting bid 800, and then bio at 1,200, and it was available for less than a minute. And somebody said, "Buy out. Here's your $1,200." I would very much like Dragon issue number 1. And I've seen the PDFs of it, and it was originally sold for $1.50, $1.50, 40 years.
What are they now? Like
number 1 issue of Dungeon It's available on eBay right now for $350.
$3.50. Buy two.
$350.
Ah, I got you.
Wow, that's wait, hold on a minute. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah.
I got to do an argument with somebody on the internet today, so that's always good. That's
I'm
always
shocked.
yeah, that's always a smart thing to do. I should have
Yeah.
I should have just blocked the person and moved on. But it's like why do I do that? Why do I argue with people? Why don't I just when somebody was just like, why are you they and you realize that they're not arguing um uh um uh more than anything, right? It's like one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to convince you of anything. You're not going to convince me of anything. I mean, this is stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
my friend Josh, who I work for at Great Fox, I watched him like interact with somebody, and he was just like, and then he said he responded to somebody with like I don't know one of my favorite responses he like says when somebody like posts their opinion, like, and admittedly it's a very baiting thing to say, but it's so classically Josh, and it is so classically perfect. It's like what an amazingly horrible opinion to have. Like that's like that's like his response, and it always gets a response, and then they're always kind of like, oh, they respond in some way, and then he'll say, well, no, I mean, it's just like, I mean, they were arguing, they're like somebody that was upset over the fact that drive through RPG is listing anything that's like from a certain era of D&D, that it could have problematic themes and pronouns and things like that, and they're not going to fix them, and they're still going to sell them or whatever. And they're like, it's like, um, you know, uh, he said something to the fact of like, it's like, I just don't like the fact that my work is being categorized as being uh misogynist, sexist, and problematic. And he's like, have you ever considered that your former work is actually sexist, you're problematic, and misogynist? Just like that. He just says it. Have you ever considered that? And then he said something like, it's like, it's like, what are you trying to say? He's like, I'm just saying, I mean, it's like, you have a problem with it, but have you ever actually considered the fact that it might be that? And he's like, well, I know what I wrote. And I was like, and they kind of went back and forth a little bit. And then eventually, like, the guy like said, well, he like responded to him, and he's like, I see where you're coming from. And Josh said, I understand what you're saying now. And he's like, and then he said, so you mean I'm right? And then he said, no, I just know when I'm wasting my breath. Cheers. It's just like, yes. And why can't I be like that? No, I'm gonna type with two
Because you got to prove a point.
I'm gonna explain to you why you're dumb, and you're gonna realize that you're dumb, and you're gonna praise me for being so smart. This is how it's gonna work.
So,
And on the battlefield, you'd be the first to die.
so last week on Monday, someone posted on, I think it was the Board Game Geek Facebook group, that it was like, I'm so upset. We got everyone in my family were all together for Easter, and we didn't play any games. I said, so you spent the day with your loved ones, enjoying each other's company and talking? That's horrible.
It is. You haven't met my family, ain't you? That's torture.
I was like, that sounds so horrible. Like, I really, that's the one aspect of the board gaming hobby that I can't stand, is the fact that everybody has to be, they have to be playing games all the time, getting everyone else to play games. Like every time someone says, "Oh, my spouse doesn't want to play games with me," how can I convince them to play? I'm like, you don't.
Yeah, find somebody else.
You don't.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
What games can I buy? I want to buy games for my nieces and nephews. I'm like, do they like games? If they don't, then don't bother.
Yeah.
It's like saying,
Yeah.
I like beer. What kind of beer should I buy people who don't drink beer to get them to drink beer? Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, well, it's like Lance's situation. They're excited. They want to spread the word. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, you don't have to do it constantly.
And then people like the Target's having a sale right now, buy two get one free, and people are like, which of these games should I get? I'm like, if you don't know which games to get,
Don't get any.
don't get any.
Don't get any. Yeah.
I mean,
Every so often, I just want to like go on like those groups on Facebook and just post. Can someone please tell me what I like?
you're so you're so awful, Anthony.
You are, Andy.
You got all the answers.
I get what he's saying.
There's so many other things in this world. Like, yeah, you can love games all you want, but you know what? You don't need to convert everybody. You don't need to talk about games constantly. You don't need to get overexcited about the fact that Ticket to Ride showed up on a Saturday Night Live skit. And like, oh, look, our hobby's being recognized. I'm like, no, it's not. They want to make a Jumanji joke, and they put in a game about trains so they can put a joke at the end of the Jumanji sketch.
I have decided I have my new thing that annoys me and that I detest.
A new one.
Well, no, I mean, it's just I encounter it so
How
often.
big is your list, Lance?
It's huge. It's huge. I should start making a list. But people like you see people will post something. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't I mean usually it's in one of these like Facebook groups about some sort of just whatever. If it's about RPGs, they post something about what exactly would you consider to be like an example of lawful good or an example of a chaotic good person as we know them in real, and then you have these people like kind of posting and they're just, people crack wise and do the thing. But then you always get the one person that comes in and goes, well, I studied anthropology at such and so, and for this and that, and I was a practicing therapist at such and so for so many. It's like, first of all, I never believe you. I never believe anyone that says that. I mean, unless they post me pictures of their unless they put their pictures of their graduate the diplomas, and like I don't believe you. I just because I mean there's just so many people out in the world that like use the internet to lie and be full of bullshit. So I just don't believe you anyway. And the thing is that who cares? I mean, one, I don't believe that but you still could have a bullshit opinion, and you still could
But here's the point, Lance. In school, I took theology. I studied theology. I'm not going to give you any theological things. Does he have a degree in archaeology or whatever the hell it is?
Yeah, and I just, it's like, bro, that's why it's my opinion that blah, 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 blah. I'm just kind of like, oh my God, just get over yourself. I have started blocking so many people on it's just the most freeing, wonderful thing in the world. When
Did
I
I make
like
the list
see
yet?
when I see somebody shows up in my Facebook feed that like posts some stupid, like, super right wing garbage bullshit, like just something dumb about Biden's got to go and blocked. I never have to see you again. And it's like, oh, you're gonna live in an echo chamber. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just not gonna.
I do it on both sides.
So do I. Depends on what they're saying.
You're too extreme on anything. I'm like, okay, goodbye. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
I will say this. I will tend to be only snooze the really annoying progressive people. Like because
No. Progressive people are different. I'm talking
Extreme.
extreme.
Oh, okay.
extreme left people.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to block. I guess I had to put a few people on snooze that like during our eclipse or whatever, where they felt like they had to repost the pictures of Donald Trump staring at the sun, even though like the same pictures of him actually having glasses on, then he took the glasses off, put the glasses back on. I was like you said, there's so many things you could post about him that just say he's a piece of shit and he's a horrible human being.
He's
Why
got
do
small
shit?
hands. He's fat.
Why post the things that are just like untrue? I get
He
it.
likes McDonald's.
He knows what McDonald's is.
Yeah. No. It's fine. People hate what they hate, and they should. They should hate all those things. So I actually backed
Holy shit.
I actually backed a couple of board games recently.
Board games?
Ooh.
Yes.
What did we back?
So let us know so we know which ones we're not going to ever get.
That's true. Yeah.
Ah.
It's
No,
gonna be
I
another
backed
one of them
I backed
Shadows of
the
Brimstone.
I'm still not 1,000% on either of them. I'm one of them is Horror on the Orient Express. The
Uh-huh.
and like I backed it because it was like $98 and done, and I was just kind of like, and I'm sure it'll be amazing and I'm sure it'll be great, but I'm also getting to that mindset of like I mean, will I ever play it? I just
Nah.
I don't know. I mean, sure. I mean, but will I ever play it? I'm just kind of
get you.
like I'm in that like weird, I don't know, kind of thing, right? And it's just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's just I'm on that little uh. But the other one, and I'm not sure about this one, is the. Did you see that they're going to reprint Divine Right?
What?
Yeah. The old school Divine Right. It's on Kickstarter right now.
Okay, hold on. I gotta go look.
And I backed it. From Pungo Games. It's a division of Worthington Publishing.
Ah, okay. That makes sense then.
Yes. And I have an old copy of Divine Right. And I love that game. It's I owned a copy of Divine Right when I was a kid. And I used the map of Divine Right for so many of my D&D games. Like I was like, you're here, and like I would say that, and I use the names on the map all the time for all kinds of stuff, just like and I loved it, I mean it was one of those things that I just really, really enjoyed. And then my copy of the game, I have no idea what happened to it. It might be in my mom's basement still. I don't know. But and then it was impossible to get a hold of copies. They were just gone. You couldn't find them anywhere. And then I was at the flea market, PGG flea market, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and some guy had an unpunched copy for $20. I mean, it was like, yeah, I'm taking this. Didn't haggle with him or nothing. I mean, he just wanted to get rid of it, and I even said to him, I was like, this is this is Divine Right. He's like, yeah. And I was like, it's can I look at it? He's like, go ahead. It's not even punched, I don't think. And I looked, and he was telling the truth, and I was just kind of like, are you sure? $20? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, here you go, and just yeah, there you go.
Did you get it with a neoprene mat?
I did. I at least got in on the launch special, however. So
Okay. Oh yeah, much better.
yeah. Whatever, save like $20 or whatever.
Game's almost as old as I am.
All right.
Yeah.
What else did you back?
Then I just backed an RPG. Swords and Wizardry has got some new books coming out. So, I'll always support Matt Finch. He's a good guy. He's he's one of the most left-wing people I've ever met in my entire life who doesn't ever preach it whatsoever. He leads it. He does it by example. Everything he does in his life, but he doesn't draw attention to it. I have a great deal of respect for Matt Finch. So if he ever publishes a book, I just back it. But yeah, Divine Right, baby. I mean, I don't know what the new rule set is going to be. I don't know. I mean, I remember playing it, and I remember like probably not understanding what I was doing most of the time, but I remember enjoying it a great deal as a kid. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I see that the Wormwood and Geek and Son are going head to head on tables right now.
Are they?
What now?
Geek and Son has a Kickstarter for their table, one of their tables, and Wormwood has Kickstarter for one of their tables.
It was bound to happen eventually.
Well,
How much are the?
all of you just need to hold
average.
on and wait for the official Gray Fox Games / Game Trays easy to carry, easy to set up, sturdy, fantastic foldable game table. And it is going to be like
Berkey's getting competition, huh?
So,
Wow.
the one they did on Kickstarter?
it hasn't launched yet. We're like getting it. We're figuring out the shipping and how we're going to ship it to people.
I thought they did a Kickstarter already.
No, they did. We have a sign up page, and a lot of people saw it, and there's like thousands of people that have signed up for it now. But it's gonna it's gonna be it's gonna be very affordable, like $150. It's gonna have all the things that you want, like as far as the things for your drinks and the right height and a spot for putting a neoprene mat down that you'll be able to swap them out if you so desire. It is going to weigh, I think, I forget how much it weighs, but it's not going to be like a 40-pound thing. It'll be something that like when you fold it up, it'll latch closed. It'll have handles. It's something that you're going to be able to put it in like.
It's car. Is it made of like the same kind of material like the Costco tables?
Better.
Costco tables?
Better.
So it is plastic though, right?
Well, yeah, I can make out. I'm not going to be able to lightweight and carry it around made out of metal.
You know what I mean? That's what I meant. Like that.
I know exactly what you mean. You know why? Because every single time I go to a convention, Shane forgets to bring one of those tables, and I have to go to Costco and buy one whatever, or Walmart or whatever place I happen to be.
Yeah, when I said Costco, I meant Costco without the T.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Is it going to come in different colors?
That's not determined right now, but I mean, okay. I think the big thing is that it's different colors. That's what the neoprene is going to be. It's going to be fantastic.
I know because the pictures I saw, it looked like it was going to be white. That's why I was wondering if.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you can set it up and then tear it down, and then it folds up and you can just put it in your closet or whatever, and you're good to go. So. That's going to be amazing. I mean, if you want a big giant table, like I said, I mean, it's just like, I mean, I get it. It's like those Jasper shelves that All Play is selling, right? I mean, it's just like, that's for people that just have money and they just want to spend it on something. And if you want to spend your money on a table, go for it.
To answer your question, Barry, The
Andy, what was
base
the
price
question?
for which one is it? The Wormwood table is $721. But that's before you start putting in all the
Oh, and that's their modular or whatever they're calling
yeah,
it table.
they have one pledge level, 721, and that's the base amount, and then you gotta pick your like finish and all that, then it all goes up from there.
Alright.
And then the Geek and Sons one is the Megan Plus.
No, plus.
You know, it's the Megan table they had before. This is the newest version of it.
Hmm.
I think they changed the like the rail system on the side for attaching everything.
Right.
And that one is
A die.
Uh,
that one is the early bird, the Megan Little centimeters. I don't know what the hell.
no.
It's that was a 1,015.
Plus probably another 5, 6 for shipping.
The small 1141. The medium 1458 for the early bird. The large is 1,712. The long is 1965. Oh, that's cool though. They do have a hexagon table. The hexagon though is 2155.
Wow.
And the crown, which is 100, it holds 8 to 10 people,
8
is
to 10.
2282, and that's just for the table. Oh, they
Yeah,
have a
not the
large
chairs.
hexagon too, which is $2,600.
Ugh. Who
So
would
yeah,
need
there
that?
you go.
12 people? Who would need that? Yeah,
D&D sessions, or
yeah,
if you have one, you're using it as your dining room table. Also, a lot of people. So
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that price, I'm sure I would be.
So here's a question that I've never understood.
Hmm.
Hopefully, maybe one of the two of you can answer my question. When you look up a book,
Mhm.
one of the things you can look it up, you can look it up by their ISBN number, right?
Yeah.
Why is there an ISBN 10 and an ISBN 13 number? 13.
That I don't know.
what?
So if you look up a book, it'll have an ISBN number, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's an ISBN 10-digit number and there's an ISBN 13-digit number. And I'm always like, why are there two?
Well,
Let's
hold
see.
on, I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, I
No.
could Google it too. I mean, I just
Yeah, that's what I said.
Ah,
One's national, one's international.
no.
What's to say,
So the
Andy?
ISBN number, the 10-digit number, is what the system was set up to be originally.
Right.
But books produced after January 1st of 2007 were given a 13, so they wouldn't run out of numbers.
They hit the number. Okay. So it's a library thing. Catalog thing. That's interesting.
So every book has a 13-digit number. So if it was produced before 2007, it has a number that starts with 978, and then the 10-digit number it originally had. There you go, Lance.
There you go, Lance.
there you go.
And no one's half the battle. I'm wondering when paper books will go extinct. When do you think that'll happen?
When they stop making toilets.
Nah. Everybody uses their
No,
phone now.
so I know a lot of people. I'm one of them. I cannot read on a tablet or.
You're old though. I mean,
Well, it's not that I'm old. I just can't. I
you
just
can't
don't enjoy
see.
it. No, like even like the paper white tablet things. that look like
It's the backlight. Is that what
it,
bothers you?
I don't know what it is.
Eh.
I like flipping pages.
Yeah, I like the tactile feel too. I'm the same way. I found the backlighting bothers. It makes me blurry after a while,
So
as
it's
opposed to the regular book.
what I find funny is my wife reads like literally like 3 or 4 books a week, and she reads them on her phone.
Oh,
That would drive me nuts.
No, which is hysterical because like the screen is this big,
Yeah.
and like there's like 2 sentences because she's got the font big,
Enlarged.
and
Yeah.
all I see her doing is like her thumb is just scrolling to the next thing. Oh, like it's like a nervous tick. It looks like if you don't know what she's doing, but
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that on a phone.
yeah, I need to go like okay, look like oh I got this much of the book left. I got about a third left. Okay, good. And I know the apps tell you like what percentage of the book you've read and all that, but
Yeah.
still.
I think it's a generational thing. Like I said, I prefer the paper, the tactile feel too. But I think kids growing up won't. They'll all be on a device. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it is. My father-in-law reads on a tablet. He reads books all the time too, but he reads on a tablet.
Yeah, the tablet. Yeah, I can see that. It's a little bigger than the phone.
But like I said, I need to have. I mean, I don't read all that much, you know, like
Yeah, I don't
people
read
who
as much
readers,
anymore.
but like I like to have a physical book.
Yeah, I actually just started Dave Grohl's book, but I'm only like 10 or 15 pages into it. I used to read 2 or 3 books at a time. It used to be at least one fictional and non-fictional.
Yeah, that I don't understand either. People who do that.
I
Uh,
for me,
Sometimes you just need to chill.
yeah, I lose track of the book. It sounds
Oh, yeah.
stupid, but I like where I was like, where's the book, that I was reading? Oh, I'll just read this other one.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's different. But people who are like they're halfway through one book, and then they start reading another book, and then they go back to the first book. No, finish the book you're reading. Finish that book.
Well, a lot of times with me, I'd have one at work and one at home. So it's something like that. Or I just have to stop from like the non-fictional stuff and take a break sometimes because sometimes they were dense, and I'd go to a fiction book.
If I was reading on my Kindle or a tablet, I'm blind.
Okay. Jen just confirmed that she's blind, and the font would be just as big if it was on her Kindle. So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that I could understand if you can't see too well.
well, big is one thing, but your screen is only this big, so it's only like 2 sentences fit on it.
It's convenient. I used to keep books with me all the time. And I would take like 3 or 4 books with me on the airplane. This is just much easier.
See?
And
Yeah.
Kindle Unlimited is awesome.
I will say hello since you're here.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
All right,
Did
knock
the
it
pop
out.
in?
It's like I'm trying to stay out of the camera view. I'm like, you can say hello. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you later.
I broke it yesterday, 33%.
Okay, she's at 33% on her book.
33.
I mean, she'll be done by tomorrow morning.
So I mean, I know the answer is going to be yes for Anthony.
Yes.
So, but I'll ask. So I'm just going to ask Barry. Barry, did you watch the original Shogun in the 80s?
The one with what's his name?
Chamberlain?
No, I didn't. I was thinking of another one then.
Did you ever read the book by James Clavell?
No, I did not.
All right.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, you said saying yes, yes. Are you watching the new one on Hulu?
No.
Yes,
It's really, really good.
it is. I just watched the last 4.
It is pretty good.
But you can't be stoned and there's subtitles.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's the one thing I like about it.
Yeah,
is
that's what you got to worry about with me.
So that's the one thing I like about it is that when I turn it on, it make so it's kind of like did you ever watch Narcos on Netflix?
Yeah. All
like
open-minded,
that's
actually.
almost all subtitles as well,
Yeah.
right? You know, so you gotta watch it. Like you can't just have it on in the background and like, you know, whatever. You have to watch it to like hear what they're saying and do everything like that. You know, it's like so the original, which was fantastic. I mean, in the 80s, it was fantastic. But uh one of the really, really cool things that they do in this one, because of all the subtitles, is that whenever anybody speaks Japanese, it's subtitled. And there's certain situations where like they'll have one word or something like that when they won't, you know. But I mean, but for the most part, if anybody's actually they're conversing, they speak in Japanese,
Yeah.
and it is always subtitled. But the way they handle the fact that like, because basically the whole, if you haven't watched it, you know, man, no spoilers at all.
No spoilers.
But I mean, basically, an Englishman washes around in Japan with his boat, and he, of course, doesn't speak any Japanese, but he speaks English and he speaks Portuguese, and the Portuguese like are in Japan, spreading the Catholicism, the Catholic faith,
Yeah.
and so there are Japanese people that have been taught Portuguese, and there's Portuguese there, and so he can speak to the people that can speak Portuguese, and they then translate what he says to the Japanese people, and so on and so forth. And so it's one of those things where it's like they really draw you in because of the fact that like whenever anybody's speaking Portuguese, it's spoken in English. And so you then you realize that like what he's saying, you know, to these people, and it's kind of going back and forth and being, you know, translated and being understood. Yeah, and it's just like the very first scene where there's the translator available to listen to what he says. Like you know, it starts off so perfectly where it's like the Japanese lord asks a question in Japanese, you see the subtitles, the interpreter then, you know, speaks to the you know, and to Blackthorn, and Blackthorn then responds, and then that guy speaks, and so they're kind of going like, you know, ding 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 ding, going back and forth, and then eventually at one point they just kind of let the whole thing kind of fade away, and it's just the Japanese lord speaking, and Blackthorn is responding, but you still know he's being, the interpretation is still happening, and they're still going through that process, and I don't know, it's so good. I mean, it's violent, and it is Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones. It is I mean, so many great little lines or whatever, like when the guy, I mean, you know, like Anthony, when the guy's, I mean, and a lot of it is very much like very much like the show in the 80s, and also like straight out of the books, because they followed the book pretty well. There's this like amazing like moment where when the General Iron Fist shows up and to the guy that's trying to like steal the ship, and he's just like it's such a great scene where he comes up on, and like the general's there, and he's got his men behind him, and he says like, it's like, oh well, you know, it's like I see you've taken the man's ship, and of course it's got cannon and riches on it and whatever. And the guy, who's kind of a little Weasley guy, he says, oh well, you know, it was in my fief, so I just assumed it was mine. And then this old samurai just says, oh, I guess I was mistaken. I was under the impression that you were loyal to your master. And his hand just strays to his sword. His hand moves to his sword, and every single one of the warriors behind him, they all put their hands on their swords at that moment, in the exact same moment. And it's just this wonderful. And he's like, oh no, he's like, I was gonna give our Lord, the ship, and I wanted it to be a surprise. And he's like, oh, it's like, I am glad that your loyalty is without question. And it's just, I don't know, it's so good. It's just, it's super well done and um, highly recommended if you aren't watching it. And of course, I'm watching it, and all I want to do is like come up with a like feudal Japan era D&D campaign. I want to come up. I've got all these ideas of how I could I make a sandbox of like a bunch of different feuding warlords, and then uh in a very Japan-esque setting, and like insert the players in some way, and then just have them you know and just let them play, right, and just let them like interact, come up with like a basis for each kingdom that are all vying for power and control over one another, and then put the players in the middle of that and let them grow and like gain alliances and do certain things, and let them kind of build on that. I don't know. It's just and of course, my brain has all these ideas, but I can't possibly put them all.
You have the Witcher Call It book,
The which one?
the old D&D book.
Oh yeah, I go around to Avengers. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it because that's problematic.
Well, it's not a very good book, too.
No,
Let's I mean that book was printed to cash in. It was just to cash in on the whole ninjas and whatever, right? And it wasn't really good per se. It was uh it wasn't bad. It wasn't, nobody ever really used it. Everybody had this idea that they would do something with it, but I don't think anybody ever really did. They just um the all little powers and abilities just didn't really work really well.
I always refer to it as the original or the original D20 book.
Why do you say
Remember,
that?
remember when they had the whole D20 thing? So they have like the D&D modern and the D&D this and the D&D that.
Yeah, yeah,
D20
yeah, yeah.
system. That's what it was, because it wasn't supposed to be playing as ninjas and samurai and stuff in regular D&D. It was having to play D&D in the Far East
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Was this Shogun books and all that? Was that based on a true story? Because I know there was an Englishman over there in that around that time period, but I was curious if this was based on that.
Mm, good question.
I might be thinking it might be a little earlier than that. I know, like when the Catholics tried to get in it at first, the Japanese did not like that at all. They were hanging them upside down, pricking their necks so they would take
Well,
longer
I
to
mean,
die and stuff.
when
But
they and this is, and I'm not the best. I do not have the greatest of knowledge of this, and it's definitely something I want to read. I would love to read into and learn more about. But it was, the eventually, like the Christian religion started really taking hold
yeah,
in Japan.
yeah,
Um, and there was, of course, uh, uh, there was pushback. Um, but it was one of those things where it was like what, in like the 1600s or whatever, if I remember correctly.
yeah.
That
It
was in
was
that era.
just when they
Um,
started opening up to the West.
and the big thing is that the um and I think, like, I mean, and the weird thing is that, I mean, admittedly, I spent a week in Japan, but I don't remember ever really seeing any um massive Christian uh community there.
But you were in Tokyo, right?
Well, Tokyo and a few other places, but yes,
Uh,
mostly Tokyo.
okay.
Um, so mean, I don't know if that was a thing. I mean, again, I don't know anything, right? You know, I mean, I don't know if like one of the things where uh I don't know if it was like with the Imperial Japan during the 1900s, leading up to the World War II and whatever. I don't know if like was it.
Well, there's only 1% of Japan that's Christian.
Yeah,
Well, and there you go.
yeah, most of
Uh,
them are. I don't know if they're Buddhist or not. Yeah,
I'm
well, the Christian thing was just because it was a kingdom it was just interfering with their power, their control. That happened anywhere, whether it be any religion going into a land like that.
yeah. Uh,
I didn't realize how big Japan actually was, like compared to it's like the size of the East Coast over in the United States. I didn't realize it was that big.
well, I mean, just it is a it is a fun thing to watch, and I would strongly suggest checking it out to anybody, um and taking a look. That and what was the other thing? Oh, and then Tokyo Vice, its second season of that started on HBO, and the first season was freaking
Yeah, I forgot to
amazing.
get back to that. I forgot to get back to the second season. I did see it came out. Yeah, I enjoyed
First
the
se-
first season.
yeah, first season was amazing. Another one that you have to watch. You can't just have it on in the background because again, a lot of subtitles. But absolutely fantastic. And then there was rumors that they were never going to get the second season, right? It just it
Yeah.
wasn't happening or whatever. And then it did. Like all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. And it's just I didn't really, like didn't immediately pay attention to it or something. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, it launched and I was like, oh geez. And I was like so happy. And then I went back and rewatched all of season one again so I'd know what was going on. And but that's really well done too.
Is it still going on? It's done, you said?
I think the final season, the final episode, uh, was completed now. I think so. Or the final episode of the
Yeah.
second season. I don't know. I haven't watched it all. I mean, but those I always like. I'm always like I want to watch. I want them to, um, do the whole thing right before I start watching it because then I get annoyed. You know, what I mean, like,
Yes.
yeah, like with Lovecraft Country, like when that came out on HBO, like I started watching that. Ryle and I were watching that together, and then we'd forget that the new episode came out, and then we'd try to get around to watching it again, and then it was just like, and then we kept forgetting, and then we didn't watch it, and then it was like, and so we only got through like 4 episodes of it, and we've never gone back, you know. And then you're like, well, I've forgotten everything by now, so if I go back, I gotta rewatch everything again, and you know.
It's okay.
I
They're not
I
making
do
another
that.
season.
I do that with any TV show,
Mm.
like new shows, like unless it's something that's something that I don't care if it's only like one season kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to get into this if it's gonna like we watch The Equalizer, and then
Like the
after
old school one?
no, I've seen all of those, but we watched the new TV series with Queen
Uh,
Latifah.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Is
But
it?
after that was uh Jimmy Smith's new cop show thing,
Oh, I
and
have
I'm
no
like,
idea.
it looks good, but I said it has to get renewed for at least the second season before I'll watch.
Yeah.
Like we watch Equalizer and then turn the TV off because I was like, I don't want to get into it because every time a show comes out and that looks good and I like it, for some reason it doesn't
It
take off.
canceled. Yeah.
It gets canceled and it's like, oh, okay, well that was a waste of time.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Netflix to do that. They're a three-body problem. It just came out, but I'm
Yeah,
waiting
but
for
then
them to drop it.
Netflix doesn't do shows that
Two,
last.
three, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That-
Although the show was a little bit different than the books, from what I remember. But that bothers some people, not me so much, but
No, you're above it.
And I'm
no, it's
perfectly
just
fine with the preseason thing. The two,
yeah,
three
so am
seasons.
I for most part.
Perfectly fine with it.
After that, they start to get stale. Yeah. No, it wasn't that. I didn't read all three of the books, but I knew they swapped some stuff around here just because of what I read. Something didn't happen in the two books I did read. um, so I'm sure if somebody read the whole thing, they'd be pretty upset about it, the way they handled some of the stuff in it. But it's a show. You can't. The books are pretty long, you know. You can't have everything in it. But overall, I did enjoy the show. Yeah, I mean,
If you say so. Um, I don't know.
you know,
Oh, what else is new? I talked about Shogun. I talked about Tokyo Vice. Um,
what's his name? Lucas in the chat. He needs the link basically needs.
tell him to look at like you're in the group.
No, he's not. He's not a member. I checked. A
I
little bit ago.
invited him. I put him in. He's got to accept the group invite then. What a invite. Let's try this again. Invite friends.
Something happened.
Yeah. Let's just search for Luca again here. Okay.
It was on the second floor.
Yeah. Yeah, he's already invited. You got to go to your group invites there, buddy. And then
Like,
accept the group invite.
Delete.
And then join the group. And then you're in.
Maybe if you told him how this stuff works, he wouldn't have this problem. He's new
Hey.
to it, Lance.
Build a
He's
man
talking on
fire.
an iPhone.
He stays warm for a night. Set a man on fire. He stays warm for the rest of his life.
It's true. Very true.
1 second, I have to yell at my kid.
Good.
Hey,
You could have muted
it's 10:30.
it.
I like the fact that you told us, hold on, I gotta yell at your kid, and you didn't mute yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's fine. I just
Yeah.
didn't want you talking
Yeah.
without me. Listen. Go.
Now, damn it. Bed.
Just
Brush your teeth.
yeah, so slow. I went to the dentist. I hadn't been, for my
Did you?
cleaning.
I'm gonna have to go soon. I'm grinding my teeth. I noticed that.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Jen said she noticed I'm like I'm spasming in my sleep, so that's probably what it is. I'm grinding my teeth when I'm
Is
spasming.
that what you're calling it now?
Yes. She broke me down. We ordered that crumble cookies. They're $5 a cookie. To be fair, they're about this big. Yeah. But it was like $30 for
$5 a
6
cookie.
cookies. What's that?
It's still $5 a cookie.
That's what I said. But Jen probably broke me down. I just had a craving the other day. They're sweet though. I had this lemon.
Luca, I would
Curry
message
cookie.
you
Very
the
sweet.
I would message you the thing, but you're unavailable on Messenger. Apparently, it's saying me like I can't use Facebook Messenger to send it to you because you're unavailable.
See if I can get them.
Nobody. Trouble.
I just
No, Kabuki. I didn't feel the quake. I slept right through it. I think I'm probably too far south for that though. My brother was in Philly. He said he didn't feel it. What'd you say, Lane?
I felt it.
Did you?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law was up in North Jersey somewhere, but he said he didn't feel it. But you never know. Yeah. He's Edison, I think he was. Where the hell did he say he was? He works up there by New York a lot. I just can't remember what he said. Yeah, but I didn't. Not this one.
All right, I
The
sent
last-
it him a messenger, so hopefully he gets it.
The last one I felt was that one down in DC. Oh no, there was a minor one up in Reading that I felt a few years after that one. That one in DC, I thought like it was the downdraft from a helicopter. I didn't know what the hell it was. This is the first time I ever felt an earthquake. There's Luca.
Oh, look, he's gracing us with his presence.
So how bad was the tremor, Kabuki? You said you were pretty close to the epicenter. How was it with you, Andy? Just a little shake or
Well, I was up watching TV, and I could hear it before I felt it. And at first, I just thought it was because we get like these crazy windstorms up here sometimes.
yeah,
But like, as soon as it started, like I was like, that's not wind.
yeah.
It lasted a couple seconds, but it was. I knew exactly what it was when it happened. I was like, oh, earthquake.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Like I said, I thought to me it felt like the downdraft of a chop, just that force, and the bouncing. But then I was fishing on a pier, and the people who lived in the house behind me said, "We just had an earthquake," and I was like, "Oh, that's what that was." Like, yeah, all my dishes and shit fell off.
The only other time the only other time I remember feeling an earthquake,
My AirPods were
I
on.
was younger. I was in the Bronx,
My AirPods were on
It
the
happened.
kitchen counter. Did you move them?
and I just happened to get up. It was really early in the morning. I was like on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I got up, and like I got up out of bed like half asleep to go to the bathroom, and like as I stood up, it happened, and it just knocked me. I fell back on the bed because I wasn't like totally awake or anything.
You were stable, yeah.
But yeah, that's the only time I've ever been in one that I remember as being of any significance.
Yeah. No, I've seen a twister at a distance in Kansas. I've been in a couple of blizzards, like in a dead
I had
center
one
of
go through my
blizzards.
backyard.
A tornado? Yeah, we've had a couple like within 10 miles of me within the last 4 or 5 years, but nothing really, really close.
Right through my backyard. Check out my back fence.
Did it?
Yep.
Was it? I'm assuming a small one.
Yeah, so it's funny because like you think tornadoes, you always think like the Midwest and
Yeah.
but like in that part of New York where I lived, upstate, that's
Part of
every
the
summer.
alley. Yeah.
And like it was small, but it was powerful enough to do some massive damage.
Damage. Yeah. Yeah. No, the one I seen out in Kansas was huge. Like it must have been like 10 miles wide because I was about 20 miles away from it, and it was huge to me there. Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was I wasn't even home when it. So
Oh,
it was in June because we had my twins' birthday party, and it was Sunday. So I drove my oldest back to his mother's house, and as I'm coming home, like I could see like tree branches and stuff, but like there's like a fire truck parked at the end of my street, like blocking the street off. And I'm like,
right.
I live right there. I have to get it there. What's going on?
What?
Yeah.
And I got there, and
No,
that's why
this I can see.
tornado
We
came
can
through the
hear.
backyard.
What are you gonna turn into a? Did you find him?
No, but I'm asking.
Yeah, that must have been. How'd you
My
handle that? Did you just
climbing
pay for the
by
fence
whatever
yourself, or
says
did
that 3
homeowners?
hours ago is
I'm
the
curious.
Yeah,
house
we didn't
and
do
move it
insurance because
and take it with me.
I mean, it
Wasn't
knocked
worth
the
it.
fence over. It really.
Let's not ask Caleb.
So that's how I found out I'm allergic to poison oak.
Well, don't you need him for school?
Oh, really? Fixing the
Oh,
fence?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing
All right,
was,
then go to bed.
a
Why is,
couple
what do you mean you
few
asked
days
Caleb?
after that,
He should be in bed.
He was in bed, but he
took the
wasn't
kids,
asleep. I didn't know if he was like
like to Puerto
going
Rico,
to bed or
go see her family, and I stayed
Go to
home.
sleep.
And my father could come up to help me put the fence back up. and there was all poison oak there, and literally my arms were like swollen up like balloons. And I mean, if you look at my forearms, you can still see like
I found them.
the damage I did to my skin.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't go to the doctor and do anything. When they came back, I went to pick them up at the airport, and it's July now,
Yeah.
and I have like a long sleeve
Long
flannel
sleeve shirt.
on because
Yeah.
I didn't want the kids to see my arms and freak out. So I picked them up at the airport, and I said, can we bring the kids to your mother's? I need to go to the emergency room. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, she's like, just don't worry. I said, I need to go. And I said, my arm, like I showed her, she's like, oh my God. And when I went into the emergency room, the nurse at the triage desk, when you go in, thought I had
Yeah.
chemical burns. That's how bad
Oh
my arms.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think good. Yeah. Yeah, lucky I'm not allergic to any of that stuff.
What's up, Luca?
You hear me now?
We can
There you
hear you
go.
now. That you
You're looking
muted
on an
it.
actual computer like a big boy.
Oh my God, I was trying to install this thing on my Mac and it was just
That
being
room's a mess.
You like it?
Yeah.
My studio. Yeah.
Your wife's gonna be mad at you. We can see how messy your house is.
I know. It's okay. She's busy. She's playing Formula One.
Uh,
Oh,
She's got the
hold
wheel, the
on.
chair.
I'm
and
gonna
everything.
Facebook message you. Tell you.
okay.
She's gonna see her storm in here and give me a beating. No,
Well, that's your space. So
That's your man cave.
that's
Yeah.
not her. That's not her house. That's your space.
Yep.
I have
Yeah.
one too. Me and Beaker share it. He thinks it's his now.
Oh man. Yeah. We're allowed to have a mess once in a while. It's not that bad. Uh-oh.
That's nice of her.
Uh-oh. Here she comes.
I don't think she can. No, she's strapped into the chair with the seat belts and everything. So we're okay.
What?
Yeah, she's playing the Formula One with the steering wheel and the chair and everything.
Oh,
She's
she's
got her
into
whole
it.
setup.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our thing. We watch it every time there's a weekend, like a Grand Prix weekend or something. We watch like practice, qualifier, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor was just telling me we're not far from Dover Speedway. He was just telling me he's getting a couple tickets for him and his kid to go
Nice.
down there. They camped out there the last time. Something new they do.
There's a racetrack.
Dover Speedway, yeah.
Nice.
Down.
I'd love to go drifting. If someone could like put me in a drift car as a passenger while they drifting, that's like a dream.
Mm.
I'd love that.
Well, you spend the money, they'll do just about anything.
Yeah.
They'll take you out of the track for if you
I
like.
gotta go to Germany. See that? What's that racetrack? Nürburgring. The one that's like a. It used to be a racetrack, but it was too dangerous. So now they turned it into like a public highway, but you're allowed to go at any speed you want, and you could
Oh,
pay
it's too
someone.
dangerous for a racetrack, but you can do anything you want.
Yeah,
On the
yeah.
safe.
The Nürburgring. I think it's called Nürburgring. And like you could pay someone that has a Porsche. They're just waiting there, like standing there with their Porsche, and you go up to them and you tell them, "Take me around the track," and it's about 2,000 euros or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, it's
So
pretty
cheap.
Cheap.
super cheap.
Super.
Yeah,
It sounds a lot cooler until you're in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. There's a few there's a few parts on that track that there's actually little like 1-inch jump that cars are taking, and
Really?
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's intense. If you go on YouTube and watch like Nürburgring accidents, there's like so many.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's basically like a open road. You're allowed to go like whenever you want. It's insane.
the fastest I went was about 125, and I didn't want to go much faster than that. Yeah.
That's
Are you driving?
best.
Yeah, I was driving my
Okay. So
My
what you need
Shelby.
what you need to do to experiencing what it's like to almost shit yourself is you need to go to Dover And
No, I don't need it. My back won't handle it.
you do the NASCAR experience where you actually get to sit in the passenger seat
Yeah,
and they take you around the track at 187 miles an hour.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, my back couldn't handle that.
Yeah,
My friend did that.
that's
Not at Dover. He did it down in
that's scary.
Petty's thing. Tom Petty's thing. He did down there in Florida.
Richard
But
Petty.
yeah, Richard Petty. Sorry.
Tom Petty's not a driver.
Yeah, yeah.
He's also not alive.
Neither one of them are. So, uh, yeah, but like that's as fast as I want to go. Driving. It's the car. It wasn't a Cobra. It just handles differently the faster you go. Yeah.
You just killed off Richard Petty. He's still alive.
Is he? I thought the old man died.
Nope, he's still alive.
Okay, I'm sorry, Richard.
That's why I had to double check. I'm like, wait a minute, he's not dead. I just went and looked. I'm like, no, he's definitely still alive.
I thought he died.
Yeah, I don't remember how fast I was going. I think it was 160 kilometers though. I don't know how much miles that is in
To like
Well,
7 miles an hour.
Yeah, 7.
yeah, that was
I
in
don't
Germany for Essen. When I went to Essen, my hotel to Essen was that the Autobahn, which is like limitless. You're allowed to go at whatever speed you want. And I was like, trying to impress Jess, like, look how fast I'm going, and these guys in their Mercedes are just like zooming by
Flying
me.
by.
Yeah, it's like these guys are going like 200, 220. They don't care.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And there was no accidents. Like it's unbelievable, Here we
Well,
put
they
all
have
these
accidents.
Wait, how
put
fast
all
were you
these speed
going?
limits here, and then no, everybody's crashing.
How fast were you going?
160 kilometers,
That's
60.
like 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I don't
Well,
know
there you
miles,
go.
kilometers.
Yeah, we'd be lost up there too, don't we? It costs $40 to half a tank? No.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing the price differences.
Yeah, I had something clever I was going to say. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, could have been that clever. So, what's exciting with you, Luca?
Let's see what happened today. Oh, so the Star Wars TCG game. I don't know if you guys have played it yet. The new one, the Unlimited.
Nah, I probably won't, but what'd you think about it?
It's pretty cool. It's the mechanics are really good, and I'm seeing a huge explosion at my store. Like, um, there was 2 people waiting at the door before I open, which
Mm.
happens kind of rarely because I open at noon, but people were there waiting. And when I came in, I opened my computer. They came in for singles to buy like singles. I opened my computer, I checked the orders, and there was like, I don't know, like 17 orders of singles for Star Wars. And I just didn't have the product. So I had to open all of my product. I had to open everything, every booster pack I had, everything to make the singles for these guys that yeah, it's insane. It's exploding like crazy. I've never seen anything like it in a game. It's like 13 years I've been doing this, and Star Wars is just insane. I thought it was gonna be kind of like Lorcana, but it's going crazy. So that's what I
How
was
how
doing all day.
how long's it been out?
Uh, 3
2 weeks?
weeks, three,
Oh, okay.
3, 4 weeks. Yeah, yeah. It's Fantasy Flight
Yeah,
games.
I didn't think it was that new, or that old rather. Yeah, we'll see. Fancy Flight tried with a bunch of, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll see. But uh, yeah, but this time the concept is good. The gameplay is actually pretty cool. Like you're playing in 2 levels. You're playing in space. You're doing space battles, and you have your ground troops. So you have a planetary battle all happening at the same time. So if I attack you with ships and you don't have any ships to defend, you're taking the damage. So you have
Okay.
to, when you're building your deck, you got to have enough troops, ground troops, and enough ships to defend in space as well. So it's like a two-front war. It's pretty cool. It's interesting.
Do you know if it's holding on with demand, or it will be like that Marvel dice game that couldn't keep up with it and died off?
So far, it's pretty good. Like I ordered 12 booster boxes this week, and they're coming. So it's not that bad. It's not as bad as when like Lorcana came out. That was insane. So no, it's not bad.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to keep up with demand of the players that want all these things. You know, they want their Darth Vaders, their Lukes, the Millennial Falcon. They want all these like Boba Fett. You know, so
You just say, "Get out of here, nerds."
There's the door.
I don't have any enterprise for you. They'll kill me.
So here's a question I wanted to ask you about it. So do you just sell games? Do you sell comics? Do you sell cards? I mean, what all do you?
A little bit of everything. I have some board games. I have comics. Not too many comics. I have like a comic pull for some of the clients. They like they tell me which comics they want to follow, and I just order that every month. But I have figurines. I have D&D books.
Do you have LARPing costumes?
No, that I don't.
Okay.
So
Mine
I don't.
does.
I don't have a little bit of everything. Yeah, like the foam swords and stuff like that, the axes. And stuff.
Yeah, mine does. That's how I never heard of it before I went in there for the first time, and I'm looking up and there was shields and swords and shit. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
And he started explaining it to me.
yeah. They even have little foam. What are they called? Like vials or potions that you could
Yeah.
throw. You could throw at people, and if it hits them, like poison or whatever.
Nerds.
all right. So here's why I was asking. So do you do you ever have people come off the street and like they're like, hey, I got all these magic cards and I want to sell them?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And do you ever have somebody come in, hey, I got all these comics and I want to sell them, or is it just mostly cards?
No, comics too, D&D books, figurines, everything. I'm kind of like a pawn shop for the people that want to sell things.
Okay, that's what I figured. But here, this is why I'm asking. So, do you ever have a situation where like a person comes in and it's pretty fucking obvious that they probably stole this from somebody? Like they don't know what they have and they just have no idea, and it seems obvious.
What does he run a pawn shop? What does he care?
I don't know. Trying to think. No, most of the time they kind of know what they have. Like to find my shop and to know that this belongs in my shop, you kind of have to know a bit about it, unless they would, maybe look online or whatever. But I never really saw someone that didn't know what they were selling me. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so because my guy who he runs a hobby shop here in town. He's run it for 30 years. And like when I worked at a record shop. And we were also like used CDs back when like that was the huge thing. I think I've told these stories before about this. So I won't go through all of that. But I mean, it was one of those things where we would habitually get people that came in with CDs that obviously had never been played, never been opened, that you knew that they had just shoplifted them from like Best Buy or Target or whatever. And they just drive. And since the store I worked at was like literally across the street from the mall, like we were in a little little strip mall that was attached to a grocery store. And and then like and my boss was pretty unscrupulous. He was always just like, yeah, take them. And he said, and if they haven't taken, because he's like, the shrink wrap's still on these. And he would always say, great, slap a price tag on them for full price and put them on our shelf.
An opportunity.
Yeah, and then because I remember one time I told him that I wasn't going to buy the stuff they stole, and then he got mad at me because I was
Hmm.
like, he was just so. But anyway, no,
But maybe they got
my
it as a gift. Maybe they got it as a gift. They don't like it. They
You never know.
it was a
Just
couple.
because the
It was a
security
couple.
device was still on it doesn't mean nothing.
It was a couple of skate punk kids with like like easy listening jazz or something. You know, it wasn't. Maybe they did get it as
It
a
was a
gift
gift
from
from
like
grandma.
the worst
Yeah.
possible like parent like who had no idea what they were doing or whatever. No, it was obvious they had stolen them. And like literally like I mean we remember back when the CDs would have those big plastic cases on them so like it was
Yeah.
so it'd be tougher to steal them. You know that was because tapes used to have those too way back in the day. But I remember like I'd see them out in the parking lot smashing the those plastic cases that were on, like taking a hammer to them just to get them out of there, and it was, but that was just anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My whole point is that like my friend like he deals with people all the time that like somebody comes in that like has a giant, you know, cardboard thing full of comics and they're like, "Yeah, I have no idea what these things are worth. I found them or whatever. Could you tell me what they're worth?" And like he says, and he won't. He'll say, "Please come back in a couple hours," and he immediately just calls the cops and says, and they say, "Yeah, we're pretty sure." And usually then the cops come over and then they just kind of wait around for the person to come back, and then they go look in the car, and the person's car is full of shit that they've stolen
Oh wow.
from a storage unit. Like they broke into a bunch of storage units and they're just trying to
Oh
get
my
rid of the
God.
stuff they found. So I was just curious if you ever had
Yeah.
any situations like that. But you're so unscrupulous. You just take the money.
I'm
Quebec.
I'm gullible, man. Like sometimes someone like I've had a few girls come in and sell me like
Oh, go on.
Sucker.
they're selling me their ex-boyfriend stuff, They're like, my boyfriend left me, whatever. He forgot his magic cards at my house, so I'm selling them. I don't know what they're worth.
Well, they're lying because nobody ever like oh nobody left their magic cards behind.
Yeah. No, but when I see that, it's like, okay, well, if I don't take them, she's probably gonna go somewhere else. And I like to think of myself as someone like honest. So I tell them, look, this is what it's worth. I tell them the actual price because I'm still gonna make a profit. Like if I'm gonna buy them at 50%, I'll still make a profit and she'll be happy. But if she brings it to some other store or whatever, and she says, "Oh, I don't know what this is worth," then that store might say, "Oh, well, I'll give her 10% of what it's actually worth," and stuff like that. So I'd rather take it and know that I'm giving the actual value.
Giving the thief a good price for their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like they really didn't look like thieves from what I remember. Like I don't like a thief would look like, or would maybe like be like homeless or like the torn up
Oh, okay. Well, I
jacket or
mean,
something.
you don't ever want to be in a jury. I mean, it's like
No, I'm really bad. Yeah, no, I don't.
For the most part, how would he even
Mm.
know this? I mean, it's not like instruments have a serial number or something where you can track it. How would you,
It's hard
how
to
would
know
you even
because
know?
like I have gamers that come in to play Magic, and if someone would tell me that guy stole something, I'd be like, well, yeah, he kind of looks like like I don't know, a guy that wears like ripped jackets and like no socks and he smells bad and
Oh, like Evan.
you got a lot of those people like no socks, smells bad.
no, I don't. They're not all like that, but like I mean, if one of them would walk in,
A
if
little
I would
beanie cap.
prejudge them as, oh, this guy's a thief, he's gonna sell me these cards, and then he sits down and he plays Magic and he wins the tournament. I'm like, shit, I just like it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge, so I try not to. You never know. You never know what people are going through. Maybe it is a ex-girlfriend who boyfriend forgot his stuff.
Hmm.
Actually, my wife put my wife told me a story of her ex-boyfriend in college was playing Magic, and he would put his Magic cards in her locker, but she didn't know what it was. She had no idea. She like they were in those white cardboard boxes, at the bottom, and it was winter, and she put her boots on them. All the water leaked apparently in the box, in her deck, in the decks and everything.
That
I mean,
sucks.
that's what you get for putting your cards in your girlfriend's locker. You shouldn't put it there,
Mhm.
right? Isn't that what happened when he left his magic cards in your locker? You put your boots on them. He put his boots. Okay, no, he put his boots
Uh,
because he was a dumbass apparently.
yeah, apparently.
Yeah. That's good.
What's
Interesting.
up, Evan?
Hello, Evan.
Evan.
Oh,
You took a break from your massive production to
well, I don't want to brag about my massive production, but you know,
how goes the
it's pretty massive.
You could brag about it because I have no idea what's going on.
he's
He
been all filming a movie and stuff.
He was giving me guff for not being on the show for a
What?
few
You're
weeks.
filming a movie? That's my dream.
Well, it can be achieved, man.
Is it
Anybody
like
can do it.
are
Anybody
you doing a short or long or what is
Anybody
it?
can do it. They let me do it.
can.
Yeah, this month was crazy. I had a small role in a feature length film, and then a lead role in a short film, and then a very tiny role in another short film. But
Is Portland a hotspot for indie films?
it's trying
Is it?
to it's trying to be more, because it was for a while and then it wasn't.
Okay.
But basically the local SAG group is trying to make more tax benefits and stuff for bringing productions to Portland.
All right.
So I think it's getting up there. Plus, Portland is really good at mimicking other sites.
Yeah.
So you can be like, and now we're in LA, and now we're in Miami, and now we're in, but it's all Portland.
Yeah, Philly did that a lot. A lot was with Shyamalan, but
Yeah.
they used Philly as general cities for a couple, like
Yeah.
that one with Brad Pitt, the zombie one. The Edinburgh was actually it was supposed to be Philly, but they used Edinburgh stuff like that.
What
it was
was
weird.
Edinburgh? That looks like Philly.
It's certain parts of like
I was
Old
gonna
City,
say, that's where I went
certain
to.
parts of it depends on where you're in Philly.
Yeah.
Certain part they used to be just separate neighborhoods, Germantown, Kensington, Fairmount. Now
Okay.
Philly itself is the size of a county. Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
But they're all there since when did Penn get here? 1640 something, I think it was. Philly, where the center city is, Old City is. That was there shortly after he got there. Independence Hall and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dates. I don't remember them.
I remember some.
What was
I
that?
was
Like
always
19,
interested in
1980? What was that?
I was always interested in history and geography for some reason. That always stuck with me.
I loved history, but only once I got a teacher that did talk about dates.
Uh,
He talked about why stuff happened rather than like who did it and when.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, history is awesome. Or,
Oh, speaking.
How am I supposed to
sad.
remember when the War of 1812 happened?
Yeah.
Right? Who is
Spe-
buried in Grant's tomb? Oh, man.
Which Grant?
Exactly.
Speaking of history, I watched that History Underground, and he does a lot with World War II. But I had another oh shit moment where Babe's family sent his copy of Band of Brothers that he got signed by the actors over in Scotland when they were filming it, and it came back. This guy was showing it again. So this is the second time in a couple months shit like this has happened. It's just nuts. I gotta stop watching this guy. Yeah. So I was talking to Jen. I want to go up to Gettysburg again. That's where most of this is getting housed at the Gettysburg Museum.
Who's that guy?
Hopefully it won't rain this time. I do have a relative buried up there. I just never seen the plaque because it's on marble and very slippery. It was
Yeah.
raining.
Right.
Evan,
Yeah.
are you on IMDb?
Probably. I don't think it's very updated, but yeah, I think so.
You should update it if it's
Let me
if
look.
you're on there, man.
I don't have really enough like meaningful credits to. Maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah, why
Evan, I'm gonna create your fan club.
not?
Well, you'd have to
I'm gonna
start it.
call it Dear Evan Halbert.
You'd be the first. Oh, there we go. I have a couple of things up there. It's super out of date, but
Evan is a joyous font of useless knowledge.
That's
Medical
me.
jargon, dad jokes.
it's me.
So what I if I put your full name, it's gonna be there.
Evan Halbert, IMDb. Bam, there it is.
Almost Boston. It's in post production.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
Nice.
I was the criminal element in that one. I was roughing up a lady.
In case anyone wants to know, Evan is 1.91 meters tall.
It
Are
sounds
you?
That
6'3", man.
plausible. That is 6'3", yeah.
Mhm.
Why is
It's
yours set in
me.
meters? That's me.
Wait, Jack and Jill? Jack and Jill was
It says height. It said height 6'3", and then it says in parentheses 1.91 meters.
Jack and Jill, yeah, that was a short film that came out before the more famous feature-length film. That was like forever ago. That was in what, the mid-2000s or something?
Project 88. That looks
Oh.
cool. What's Project 88?
Back to
That
the
was-
Future 2.
So my buddy's a documentarian. He did The Last Blockbuster. I don't know if you guys heard of that one, but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, nice.
so he makes these little documentaries.
He lied.
And one of the things he did before he got a little more well known was he did this. He called it Project 88, and it was at the beginning of the pandemic. And he split Back to the Future Part 2 into like little less than 1 minute segments and sent it out to all these participants, and everybody made their own version of that segment and then spliced it all together and made the full movie out of just all these different.
Oh, nice.
There's like live
Okay.
action, there's animation, there's paper cutouts, there's all the.
But it's the whole movie that it comes out to being the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody
fun.
just made it in their own little
He
pods.
played one of the Martys in
One
I
that.
of the
did play one of the
Martys.
Martys. Yeah.
One of them. Mark.
So no, that's kind of like that. Has anyone seen the Princess Bride one? So during the pandemic, they made a Princess Bride movie,
Yes, I've watched this, but yes.
and it's all celebrities
Awesome.
like doing individual scenes from the thing, and then they spliced it all together.
I love it.
Nice.
It was on a very very short-lived streaming thing that died off. I forget what the name of it was. And then
And you got cat
somebody
ass.
then somebody uploaded it to YouTube. And it's kind of sad because the last because they go through the whole thing and then different people take every different role. And at the very last time, the father and son or whatever, it's Carl Reiner, who's no longer with us, reading to Rob Reiner, who's in bed, and he's like, "You think you could come back and read it to me again tomorrow, Dad?" And he said, "As you wish." It's kind of like, oh.
How do you find that? What do I look for to find that thing?
The Princess Bride one.
Yeah.
Just go to
Hold on,
YouTube and
give
type
me a
in
minute, I'll find it and I'll send you a
Princess
link.
Bride COVID. You'll find it easy. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
Oh, yeah. But yes, I agree. It's good. It's good, and they're good in it.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah, it's good. The Princess Bride home movie.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to make a remake of that yet.
Oh, like a actual remake.
Yeah, did just about everything else. Yeah.
Speaking of remakes, I think my brother had a meeting today with his producers of Radioactive, and they might do like a mini series of all the characters, but later on in their life, kind of like a reunion, but like what they're doing now, kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see where that goes. That could be fun.
Cool.
But they're looking for writers. So Evan, if you know any comedy writers or whatever that is looking for a gig or something,
I
maybe.
do know writers, but they're all busy writing their own stuff.
Yeah.
Unless it's paying well, and then I know a lot of writers.
Oh, it's probably paying well because it was YTV and it's coming back. So yeah, these guys they're pretty big. So
Who's Mad TV?
YTV.
YTV.
Yeah, YTV. It was called Radioactive a long time ago.
Yeah, put up a link or something. I'll chat to folks.
How do I put up a link on chat?
Yeah.
I'm new to all this stuff. Let me see.
Oh, we know.
All right.
I'll mess with you.
Yeah, if it's paying well, yes, I know writers.
I actually had difficulties today with software I use all the time with Jamie Stegman.
Like, hey, do you know any artists? Does it pay well?
Did that work? Did I put something?
That
I don't-
reminds me of the Barton Fink, the Coen Brothers movie, and Tony Shalhoub is the head of the department or whatever that Barton Fink is supposed to be writing for, and he says, and they meet in a cafe, and he's like, where's my wrestling picture, Barton? And he's like, he's like, it's like, but you gave me the assignment a week ago. He's like, you should have that movie for me in like 4 days. He's like, usually I have to turn to somebody that, like, I need a mentor. I need another writer to talk to. And he's just like, you want to talk to another writer? Throw a rock, you'll hit one. It's like, and do me a favor, Barton, throw it hard. Just what a great movie, Barton.
Hey, Lance,
What?
have you seen the Super Bob Einstein movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching it the other day. I was like, Lance has probably seen this, but let me just remind me to mention in case he hasn't.
Yeah. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. I don't know. I suppose we got enough now, and all these not showing up. So
Give me a minute.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
I need a minute.
the last official initials until, and I'm gonna have to make them myself. So I hope you guys freaking appreciate it going forward.
I want to hear all the. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, my mom might have a version of a game that was similar to this. If you want me to.
You mean it's ripped off from somebody?
What is it called? It's
I don't know.
it's very similar to this. It's like, yeah, you're giving clues and they get easier and easier. And I don't know. I'll go get it, and maybe next week I'll show you the name, and I could ship it to Lance or something, and then he could do the whole thing. But Lance, you never get to play, which sucks. Maybe
That's
I could
fine.
maybe I could read one of the cards.
I would just crush, and then you guys would be sad. So yeah.
But I'll bring it next week if this is the last one. We'll see what it looks like.
Luca, what was the mechanic that got you into the hobby? I'm curious.
The mechanic. First game I ever played was Hero Quest, and I remember making my own maps for Hero Quest when I was like maybe 8, 9 years old or something like that. So I was like, I loved playing with the doors for some reason. The doors, figuring out where they would go and everything. Then there was the original Fireball Island, which like amazed me. I was like, oh, this is so fun. I just like played with that all day. As I got older, it was Stratego. I don't know if there was a specific mechanic. It was just I liked just playing with those things, just playing with games, and I like games that have 3D-ness to them, like where
Okay.
you kind of feel like you're being immersed inside the game, kind of thing. I like those. My brother's the opposite. He likes the what are they called? Like more like Euro style game where it's just flat board and some cubes moving around and stuff.
Yeah.
He likes that. He's more I guess he's more internally visual. I'm more like I like to see like a nice game on the table, you know. So whenever games back then came out that were, I feel like they were easier to make back then. I used to see a lot of games like big components and everything. Now it's like little components but more expensive. It's weird.
I usually want ugly as shit games.
Ugly.
Like
Uglier the better.
like Frailty. You ever play Frailty?
Nah, that's too pretty. I would have ugly war game.
Uglier than Frailty was horrible, but it was so good. The art was horrible. Actually, I don't think there was art. It was like just it looked like a prototype, but it was so fun. I
Yeah,
like
it's,
ugly games.
I asked somebody the other day. I was thinking what grabbed me. You know, like I came to gaming it later, like in my 30s, early or late 20s. But I know pandemic was the one that showed me board games could do more than just what the mass produced stuff I'm used to as a kid. You know, but that that mechanic would grab me. I think it would be probably worker placement. I'm not sure. Yeah, I do enjoy a worker placement. Specifically, Manhattan Project. I still haven't played that game. I was playing it a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that one's good. Yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
You ready? He's willing.
Man, let's do it. Oh, and he's gone.
Black.
And he's gone.
BR.
BR.
Bring it.
BR or not BR?
That is the question.
All right, this is the initials.
BR.
Here we go.
Let's see who's going in second. Is it going to be you, Evan?
The race for second place. Here it is. Whoever won.
Might be lands on this one.
Introduced in 1937.
37.
Number 2. Connected to a machine. Number 3. Connected to Secretariat.
Barry?
Go for it.
Bridal ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Oh no, damn it.
Connected to the Arizona Cardinals.
Evan.
Go for it.
Briar Rabbit.
Number 5. Connected to cinnamon. Final clue. Chewing gum brand.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Big Red.
Big
Red.
Red. The Big Red Machine. Connected to machine. Big Red Machine.
Right.
And the 1937 is the soda. Big Red soda. Which tastes like shit. Anybody who tells you the Big Red soda is good is they are wrong.
Isn't it like Dr.
Oh.
Pepper? It's Dr. Pepper, no?
It's not. It's not nearly as good. There is only one Dr. Pepper, which is supplanted by Pibb Extra, or as it was known earlier, Mr. Pibb. Mr. Pibb didn't need to be calling himself a doctor, you know, like to put on airs. Mr. Pibb was
We're
just
trying to
good.
sell this medicine back then.
Here we go. Number 1. Influenced by Bill Alexander, although they would later have a falling out. Number 2. rarely highlighted humans. Spooky Kid, you can usually find Big Red Soda at Walmart's if that interests you at all. If you want to give it a shot. Number
Anthony.
3. Go for it.
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross is correct. Well done.
Oh,
done.
Barbara.
Connected to the phrase wet on wet.
Black on black.
One of my favorite things I ever read about Bob Ross was like he was doing an interview in the late 80s, and somebody asked him, hey, what do you think about, insert local big thing happening in the news? And he said, really? I had no idea. I had no idea that was going on. And they were like, it's like in all the newspapers, it's in all the news. You're not, and then he's like, oh, I haven't watched the news or read a newspaper in 20 years. And they were like, why not? He's like, well, it's just nothing but bad vibes in there every single day. Why would I want to do that? Just like, oh, well, there you go. Here we go. Number 1. This is direct. Number 2. Often considered forceful. Number 3. This can be found in sports. Number 4. Implies a minimum use of technique. Number 5. This is often done by defensive players. Final clue. Linemen often use this strategy to get to the quarterback. 5,
Luca,
4. Go for it.
body
5.
redirect.
5.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Bum Rush.
5. Evan.
Barry Reynolds.
5, 4,
Bum rush.
Blitz rush.
3, 2. What?
Blitz rush.
And
Oh,
bull rush.
Bull rush.
Bull
Okay.
rush is what we were looking for. Bull
Sure.
rush. With Lance with the point. I'm in second place. Here we go. Clue number 1. Connected to high pressure. Clue number 2. Connected to call centers. Clue number 3. Connected to steam. Clue number 4. Often found in ships.
Evan.
Go.
Boiler room.
Boiler room is correct. Well done. Well done.
Well done.
2000 film starring Ben Affleck, Giovanni Ribisi, and Vin Diesel.
I would have got it then.
We haven't seen a lot of Giovanni Ribisi lately.
Yeah, he was in the the Offer. He's actually really good in it.
He
Yeah.
kind of had that little window there of like 3-4 years where he was like seemingly like in every movie, and then he just vanished.
Right.
So here we go. Clue number 1. Attended Florida State. Clue number 2. Connected to Cosmopolitan.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt
I would have said Turd Ferguson when I
Turd-
found it.
Very good.
Turd Ferguson there.
Yeah, it's a funny name.
So
It's a funny name.
I like it. It's a funny name.
It's a funny name. Yeah. That clue number 4 has appeared on Celebrity Jeopardy. Signature mustache. So on. Yes. Yeah, it's a funny name. Funny. George Ferguson.
Big hat. Found it backstage.
It's like you
I've been here the whole
rein
time.
in. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Well, that's your opinion.
Burt Reynolds, where did you come from? I've been here the whole time.
Got that little bolo tie.
It was never here, Trebek.
And then Mr. It's like, the best one about that one was like Mr. Reynolds. Don't bother. I didn't write anything. Very good. He just moves fast.
Pick swords.
Yeah, I'll pick
Yeah,
this
I
one.
love swords.
Here we go. Clue number 1. First known use was by gold medal in 1958. Number 2 is not seen in nature. Clue number 3 often connected to ice. Clue number 4 it is synthetic. Clue number 5 can be liquid, solid, drank, or eaten.
Barry.
Go for it.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry is correct.
Raspberry.
Raspberry. That is correct. All right, here we go. Well done. Clue number 1 went by the last names Ashburn and Claypool. Clue number 2 born and died in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Barry.
Go for it.
No, this is wrong. Benjamin Rush. It's wrong.
Number 3
Number
has
3.
appeared on a stamp.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. It is Betsy Ross.
I was getting there, Anthony.
Although it's not verified, one story suggests she altered some very notable stars from 6
It's-
pointed to 5 pointed.
It's pretty much proven. Yeah.
Not verified.
Good.
Number 1 can be found in dozens of countries. Number 2 started in 1945. Number 3 connected to the colors pink and blue.
Evan.
Go for it.
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin
Oh, wow.
Robbins
Wow.
is correct.
That's good. Wow, that was fast.
Known for samples. All right, here we go.
You guys known for samples.
I'm known for samples. Let's see, 6 left. It's anybody's game. Anybody's
Maybe like
game.
a hot sandwich.
Hot
it's
sandwich?
Robbins, dude.
Number 1 sometimes includes forgetfulness. Number 2 sometimes connected to swearing. Number 3 connected to TV and film.
Evan.
Go for it.
Brain rot.
And
rots your brain.
Number 4. Known for mistakes and mishaps. Number 5. It's a
Anthony.
complex. Go for it.
Blooper reel.
Blooper.
I was
gonna say that. I
reel
was so
is correct.
close.
Then ring in.
I
Luca.
know, I
Yeah.
know. So close.
Good one.
I had blooper and I was like, what's the second word?
It is no longer anybody's game.
Was it ever really?
Good number 1. Connected to a 1971 Woody Allen film featuring San Marcos. Number 2. Debuted in California in 1978. Number 3. A politically unstable country with an economy dependent upon the exploitation of a limited resource product.
What's those letters?
BR.
BR. Connect. Number 4. Connected to clothing. Go.
Banana Republic.
Banana Republic
Oh,
is correct
ridiculous.
for us.
I'm actually out. I'm out for the night, guys.
Winning out.
Ridiculous.
How did you come up with that?
Because they know they exploit stuff there.
Just whatever. You're insane. Here we go. Clue number 1. Debuted in 1959. Clue number 2. Was an adoptive parent. Clue number 3. Was a newspaper reporter, caterer, and more. Clue number 4. Commonly seen in blue. Clue number 5. Connected to Rosie O'Donnell. Final clue. Commonly seen around dinosaurs, Barney, and Bam Bam.
Anthony.
Barry.
Luca. Oh, son of a bitch.
Anthony.
Barney Rubble.
Luca.
Evan.
Luca.
Wait a minute. I think Evan.
Forrest.
No, time out. Because I have to go by who. Because I think Evan called out Evan after Anthony called in. So Evan, go.
Betty Rubble.
Betty Rubble is correct.
I'll
And-
take that assist. Thanks, that guy.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
gonna say bedrock, so I'm glad it didn't get to me.
Yeah.
And she was
Oh,
a
Yes, she
good
was.
looking girl with an outline. Yeah, as far as girls with outlines, she's up there. So technically, with 3 left, Evan could win right now. Evan
Oh.
could win.
There's no way.
Taking him down.
Number 1.
Mhm.
Often used as a metaphor.
Luca.
Go for it.
Brick Road.
Ah.
I knew it.
Number 2. Connected to Chicago on July 12th, 1979. Number 3. Connected to statements and opinions. Number 4. In a literal sense, is often connected to
Anthony.
skipping. Go for it. Go. He froze.
He froze.
He froze. We're all dying of excitement.
No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Go ahead.
All right. I'll repeat clue number 4 so you can have it again. In a literal sense, is often connected to skipping. Clue number 5. Features repetition. The initials are
Barry.
BR, Matt. Barry.
Broken record.
Broken
Dang.
record.
Oh yeah,
That is
Chicago,
correct.
the disco
Excellent.
The
night.
disco night.
Yep,
And I
disco
couldn't
night.
think of how it was.
They blew everything up. This is a personal anecdote that has absolutely nothing. I still remember I was probably 3 or 4 years old. You know how you have those little glimpse memories of when you're really, really young? And it's just like, and somehow they stick. I remember being in when my parents were still married, and I remember being in the basement of my parents' house, and my brother had the bedroom in the basement. And he had a stopwatch, and he was timing us how long it took us to run from his room all the way to the basement stairs and all the way back to and then tag his bed. And I did it, and I came back, and I did it, and he timed me, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you broke your record." And I literally thought that I had like stepped on a record and broke it because I had never heard. And I was like, "What do you mean I broke my record? What do you mean? What record? What record did I break?" And then he had to explain it. Whenever I hear the term broken record, I just think of my brother. All right, 2 left. Evan can tie at this point. But Anthony's sewn up the win. Perhaps a tied win. That'll win. Number 1. Connected to the opera. Number 2. Released in 2018. Clue number 3. Saw a major resurgence in 1992.
Barry.
Go for it.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh,
Is
nice.
correct.
Which
Is
one?
correct.
Dang, nice. I
Yeah.
can't believe I didn't get that.
Now I've sewn up the win.
Anthony has.
We're going for second. Me and Evan are going for second. Screw you,
Anthony has walked backwards into the win.
Is your microphone working there, Luca?
Yeah, I suck, man.
much like what was it? It was like the 88 or the 89 Vikings after like the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Packers in the last day of the year. Like we made the playoffs.
You know, they say easy come, easy go. Can you do the Fandango? You know?
Yeah. Beelzebub has a devil set aside for me. All right, final one for glory. Here we go. Clue number 1. Established in 1996. Clue number 2. Featured dozens of men. Clue number 3. Have collected rings.
Force.
Go for it.
Baltimore Ravens.
You
Let's
are
go.
correct. Forrest Bauer.
Dang.
Ahoy there, YouTube.
2. I got 2.
Dang.
So we're tied, Evan.
We each got 3. Nice.
All right. Well done.
All right.
So we're done, huh?
Well, I'll have to
that was
make it
glorious.
myself, like I said. I mean,
If you send me a PDF of the rule booklet, which I could not find online, there's pictures of it. I bet you I could chug that sucker to ChatGPT.
how do I have a PDF of it? I don't get a PDF.
Take a picture of it. Take it on your phone. Literally,
You
just
said
text
you
it.
found pictures.
No, I said if I couldn't find a PDF online. That's what I was saying because I looked. I was going to try and plug it in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. Who knows?
You want
Can
me
we
to
be
make
nice
one?
tonight, Anthony?
You want me to make one, Lance, for next week?
Well, that was what it was.
No,
like
I'll do
if
it.
you
I'll
won,
do
wasn't
it.
it?
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll get it done.
Well, no, let Anthony, because that way he won't win.
Got a
Or make
point.
him so hard that he still wins.
Yeah, right.
That'd be great. If Anthony still won as the host.
So I was thinking of a new game, and I wanted to run it by you because it's a game based off of when we do these things, and it's called Tangents, and it's a trivia game. You ask a question, and then if you get it right, you can get another question in the same category.
Must answer in the form of, and I will say this.
So every time something comes up, Lance usually has some story or some anecdote about the answer. So basically, you can keep going and get points on additional, and the questions get harder. But if you miss one, then you get nothing.
You have to have stories.
Sure luck.
Can you stop?
You can stop, and then you just
You can
bank whatever
pass.
point you have at that point in time.
Okay.
Well, it reminds me of the one thing I did a few of those, but they were tough
Speaking
to
of
do. Where
tangents.
it was like when I said, I have the like top 20.
Yes, those
Top
are
20
cool.
things.
I like that one too.
Yeah, I was like and you
Ooh, yeah.
each got to answer one. You know, it's like, okay, the top 20 the top 20 whatever strategy games with one word or that have a city for a name or something like that. It's ranked on BGG, and then you guys had to pick one, and then and you got to keep going. And so but if you got one wrong, so
I remember that. That was
It
fun.
was like you went around in a circle, but as soon as you got one wrong, you didn't get to go anymore. And it always ended up with Anthony just repeating, and this one, and this one,
Yeah.
and this one, and this one, and this one, because he had the BGG open on his phone, and he was faking
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Well, especially if we could get like say 4 or 5 categories, like simple ones, and then we could keep our score from round to round to round to round. I think that could be fun. Because I remember playing that once before a couple times. I remember liking it.
I did the before and after too. I like the before and after.
I got a grievance. Can I get my grievance out? It really
Do the
pisses me
grievance.
off.
Do you agree?
So mad. I'm
So
so irrationally upset and mad about it. So my son, my 8-year-old, has really gotten into basketball lately. Like super, just like he'll watch highlights with me and get into it, and like he wants to see certain players, and I'm all about that. And so we went and we played basketball at this elementary school. It's like 3 blocks from our house, and I freaking hate their basketball hoops because instead of the rectangle, which is essential, like it's an important part, obviously, of angles, they have a freaking umbrella. It's just, it was like someone was like, oh, let's be cute and put art up there. It's like, no, this isn't like if you want kids to go out there and play and actually practice basketball, like that's a part of the fucking thing. And then I noticed it again today when I was driving through one of our downtown local parks, and they had like a sunshine poster on there. It's like, no, like, why don't you do the artwork around the freaking square if you want to? But don't get rid of the square or integrate artwork into the square. It's like that's an essential part of fucking basketball fundamentals. And whoever fucking planned these clearly doesn't know a damn thing about basketball. And it pisses me off for all those kids who are just going to be shooting fucking swishes because some dumbass decided to post a fucking umbrella on there. And it's irrational. And I've never had this complaint before in my life, and I've saw it twice in the last 3 days, and it just makes me so mad. Like, it just makes me so mad for these kids who actually want to go out there and play basketball. And it's just like, oh, we got to swish. Because what are we going to aim for? We can't aim for the top right corner. Luca, I'm assuming you like basketball to some extent.
Yeah.
Like,
I love basketball. I have a net in my backyard.
You need the square.
The square is there. My dad used to be an artist, and he drew a basketball inside that it was thrown so hard that it went inside and it cracked open and everything, but he made sure not to touch the square.
The square is important. It's fun. It's the fundamentals.
Yeah, but what do you mean by umbrella? I don't understand. How do
they literally got rid of the square? There's no square. There's just an umbrella.
What do you mean? Like a rainbow umbrella?
No, it's like a purple. They just fucking painted a purple umbrella. So I was like, I know. How about we get rid of the square and put an umbrella? I was like, I'm so mad. It makes me so mad.
Wait, I think they're teaching kids 2-in-1. They're saying aim for the umbrella, and then the kid learns what an umbrella is. No, I don't know.
It's like it's a regulation basketball hoop.
I don't think
Like
our
these
kids are
kids
that
that don't
dumb
know what
yet.
umbrella are not gonna be able to shoot this.
No.
Has anybody seen this around their town too?
No,
Because I
no.
saw it twice in the last 3 days, and it just made me
No.
so irrationally like, God, why would you do that to kids?
It's a regulation basket, so it's a glass. It's a plexiglass.
No, I mean it's metal. It's a metal thing, but it's a standard size hoop. It's like 10 foot. Like it's a
Okay.
they got a 3-point line, they got the free throw line, they got a lot, but they just like, yeah, we'll just fucking put an umbrella up there. And then
No, you need the square, yeah, because we're depending on where you're shooting, that's like
Yeah.
your angle, and you're
It's
aiming for that.
essential.
It has to bounce off that to go in.
if Tim Duncan would have had that at his school, we wouldn't have had Tim Duncan. Just it wouldn't have happened. There would be no Mr. Fundamental with that freaking school. And I don't understand it. It just makes me so mad. And it's so stupid. But I'm done. I'm off my stupid soapbox.
Damn them people who want to beautify parks.
Beautify them, but leave the square. Put art around
They
the
don't know.
square.
It's a bunch of volunteers, most likely. They probably never played basketball, you know.
I bet those basketball hoops were paid for by some company that uses a purple umbrella as their logo.
Yeah. Nah.
I don't know.
I used to go through when I volunteered down at the baseball field in Fairmount. I used to go through that. They just didn't know. You know, it's not.
And that's what I assumed it was. Oh, I also I should yeah.
How's your critical role stuff there, Matthew?
Oh, it's good. We were in the office today, did a bunch of stuff. It was fun.
Yeah.
We took a walk around tonight and took a photo of the WB water tower and
Oh, nice.
yeah, Disney Animation and ABC and a bunch of stuff like that. It was good. I had amazing Mexican food tonight.
Where you at?
Did you?
We're in Los Angeles or Burbank.
Ooh, cool.
Beautiful
Yeah.
downtown Burbank.
Where was said
Burbank, California.
Where was said Mexican?
It was called Los Amigos, and it's this place on West Olive Avenue or something. It was very, very good. It was. I had a burrito. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was
It was
talking.
cool. Usually,
Okay.
what's that?
Good.
You know how sometimes they bring you like free like tortilla chips and salsa at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
They did that, but they also had a second thing. It was refried beans that you could dip in. Never had that before. That was good.
I was talking to Lincoln about that in Dallas. You all right there, Forrest? What the hell happened?
Sorry, a balloon just popped. My daughter's got like 12 balloons around, and one of them just popped. Scared the crap out of me.
But I was talking to Lincoln, and I have a pretty big Mexican population here, so it's somewhat authentic where we go.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in Dallas, it's like this is a lot different than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's different in LA than it is here in Dallas.
Very,
So,
yeah, I'm sure it is. And it's different in Texas and it is different in
yeah.
very different in Ottawa where I am.
I actually have a really weird Mexican food story this weekend too, where I went to a small little town that's near where I have a little tiny camper on a lake called Ligonier, Indiana. It has a population, I just looked it up, of 4.57 thousand people. Super tiny, right? I took my son and I was like, hey, you could pick out lunch. We're going into Ligonier. There's like just one main drag. It's one of those kind of cities. And I was like, and he's like, I want to drive all the way through, see all the restaurants, and then go back and then pick it. There was 6 Mexican restaurants on this one main drag.
Really?
We went to the crappiest looking one. I was like, trust me, buddy, go to the crappiest looking one. They're in business. They got amazing. It was amazing, but it was incredible. It was completely authentic. Like everybody was speaking. So I don't know what it is, but like apparently there's like a huge Hispanic population in that area. Like
Speaking Spanish.
like there's probably 14 to 20 restaurants total in Ligonier, and 6 of them are like Mexican food places, which I love, but it was just, I thought it was really weird that it was
That's
like,
a that's a major metropolis compared to where I live. There's 292 people live in my town.
how many
What
Mexican
town are you
restaurants
in?
you got?
None.
There's no Mexicans where he is. It's too cold.
There's 292 people. 279 of them also lived here last year. So we've gotten 13 new people into the neighborhood
13.
last
I
year.
thought you were in the Bronx, Anthony.
No, born in the Bronx. I
Oh.
live in Riverton, Connecticut.
Oh,
now.
okay.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at the
Population-
Wikipedia.
292.
292.
51.5% of the population is Hispanic or Latino. Wow. How the hell did that happen? In frickin' Ligonier, Indiana. That's so crazy.
Farm.
51%. But that explains a lot.
They moved there for the food.
Apparently.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the least of their problems at the time, but yeah.
Well, I hate to do this, but the jet lag is kicking my ass, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Well, I didn't expect you even to show up. I appreciate you doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I knew I couldn't show up unless I sent you that email first.
Yeah. I appreciate you sending me that. So, we'll let me know when you get back, and then maybe we can chat
Yeah.
again.
Sounds good. All right, night, boys.
Take it
See you
easy.
Bye,
later.
Matt. Have fun.
Laters.
Anthony,
That's there.
what's written on the back of your on your fireplace or your
What it
mantle?
says there?
It
It
says
says
love, live, laugh.
friends are the family one finds along the way.
Oh, nice. I thought it was a Harry Potter quote or something because the font.
Yeah, Anthony's real big into Harry Potter.
Oh, it is Harry Potter.
Jed told me they're making a reboot of that. I'm like, oh, really?
Really?
No way. Why?
No, they won't.
No,
yeah,
I'm
they
pretty-
will. It's a license to print money.
I'm pretty sure
Eventually.
it's in production, Lance.
Ah, man.
There's a brand new Harry Potter remake.
Yeah, pretty sure it's in production.
My wife's gonna refuse to watch it. She's a huge fan and she's gonna refuse to
Now,
watch it.
there is a Harry Potter TV series
Yeah. That's
coming
what I
in
mean.
2026.
It's all
That's
Harry
not
Potter,
a
man.
remake.
What?
No, it's a reboot.
It's
They're
a real
rebooting it.
reboot. Yeah,
They're
reboot.
That's what I'm
making it a
saying.
TV series.
Okay, so what makes something a remake? Just out of curiosity.
So a remake is okay. So a remake, if you have a movie like The Italian Job.
Or Psycho.
Italian Job came out in the 60s. They remade the movie in the 90s or the early 2000s. That's a remake of a movie. A reboot is pretty much you redo everything. You start it all from the beginning again.
Like Batman or DC has a lot of reboots because it's not a remake. It's the rebooting the
Did you
story.
see did you see the Joker
thing.
teaser?
With Lady
Yeah.
Gaga.
Yeah. It's all
Oh.
part of
I heard it was a lot of musical, and I was less excited, but
it.
I'll go see it.
So,
just out of curiosity-
it looks pretty good.
If it wasn't a TV show and if it was a movie, would it then be a remake or would it still be a reboot?
So, example, the Dune movies, the ones now, are
Mhm.
considered a reboot,
Because they're just
not a remake.
throwing everything away.
Yeah, it's
It's
different.
basically you're starting over and you're retelling the story. Remakes are usually the story is almost exactly the same. You're just redoing it with.
Like Psycho. Psycho redid the movie. They remade it,
Okay.
like shot by shot.
You just do it again, and instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you use Colin Farrell.
Was he in Harry Potter?
Yes.
I'd watch that.
No, that was Total Recall. Total Recall.
Total Recall. I actually watched RoboCop yesterday. The one with Michael
Yeah.
Keaton and what's his name?
Remake.
It wasn't as bad as I remembered. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad.
One?
Yeah.
The original RoboCop?
I
No,
love
the
original.
reboot.
Never saw that one.
It has
Original
the guy.
RoboCop is awesome.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Verhoeven.
Hyper violent. Love it.
The
Remember seeing
remake
it as a
has
Seconds to comply.
it had Samuel Jackson in it and Michael Keaton and
Ooh.
RoboCop was the guy who played in that For All Mankind series on Apple. I can't remember the guy's name. He's a pretty good actor. He's been in a few things. Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as I remember. Yeah. I actually watched 2010 too. A Space
That's a
Odyssey.
great movie.
Yeah. I watched 2001 last week or the week before. Did they make a third one?
No,
Or was there a third
They
book?
they never made 2061. That was the third book.
There was a book. Okay, I couldn't remember now.
Was not a really good book, if I had to be honest.
Yeah, I read it. I can't remember it. It's, it was a long time ago. Galaxy far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rewatched Blade Runner recently. The original.
The first one.
Yeah, the original. It's actually
Which
still good.
version though? Which version?
Harrison Ford. What do you mean? Which version? There's more.
So
Ryan
there's,
Gosling
there's,
one,
there's
wasn't
the
it? Like 2 or
theatrical
3
release,
endings.
there
Oh.
is the director's
Oh my
release,
God.
and then there is like a third release that was, I think it was just for HBO or when it was put on cable. And so it's like, and depending upon who you listen to, there's so like if you the whole idea that spoilers. The whole idea that Harrison Ford is a replicant is not really
old movie.
explored very well in like the theatrical release. It's not even hinted at really. And then the whole thing about it is that like that in the one the director's cut one or whatever, it like I forget which one it is, but it hammers it on you. It just like it basically won't let up. It just tells you it all but comes out and just basically says that Deckard is a robot as well. And then the third one is like it's a mishmash of it, if I remember correctly.
No, I must have watched the one that they don't really mention it at all.
So I mean, like, there's.
I remember finishing the movie and I was like, "Oh man, is he or is he not?" Like it had one of those endings where I was like, "So that's probably that one."
The big thing about it is like the ones that they say are like the hints or whatever is like you Edward James Olmos, like when he says you've done a real man's job, that kind of thing, like there's that line there.
Yeah.
And then like the dreams of the unicorns and things like that. Did you see the sequel with Ryan Gosling and stuff?
Yeah, I saw it like 3 times.
Yeah, that's really good. That's
I loved it.
Denis is just such an amazing filmmaker. It
was good.
Anybody have a line with Ridley Scott for that IP? I would love to make a board game for Blade Runner. It'd be so freaking sweet.
Well, they tried. I mean, there's a few things that Fantasy Flight had. That one game that was kind of like it.
Card game or something?
No, God, what was Anthony will know the name of the game. Remember that Fantasy Flight game that came out of nowhere that was all cyberpunky, that was just the rules were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know there was a card game. I remember a card game at my shop.
It was a game that was like it was about 80% cooked. It was like there were certain things in the game that were just completely broken.
New Hope or something.
What was the name of that game, Anthony?
I'm thinking.
Android? Was it just called
Android Netrunner?
Oh, Android
No, it was
Netrunner.
New Haven or
it was just
something.
called Android.
Yeah, it was just called
Netrunner
Android.
was super popular.
Yeah.
And
I actually think I got that in the other room.
But was
got
that
rid of it, though.
was that
yeah,
Blade
it was
Runner?
just called Android. I remember there was like basically like and this was really common in games back then. People don't realize this. But like there was like basically like you could hold on to certain like things that like basically the turn before the last turn of the game or whatever, it was like, oh, I'm gonna play this card on you that I've been holding on to forever, and it's just gonna basically make all the victory points that you've been collecting this entire game actually worthless for you. You needed a different kind of victory points. So you lose. I'm glad I played for 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh man.
When did you get that card? Oh, like it was the third card I got. Just from
Yeah, so
writing.
the whole thing with that game is you're trying to solve the mystery and whatever it is, the detective, and
Yeah.
everyone's got like a fatal flaw.
Yeah.
2 to 4 hours. Ooh.
Yeah, it was a long one.
If you
But
want to get a
what was it?
copy, you can get one on Amazon for $180 right now.
2008 Most Innovative Game nominee for the Dice Tower Awards and a Golden Geeks nominee for something or other.
Longest game. That
Or
year.
was it Blade Runner? Or
No, just Android, a board game of murder and conspiracy for 3 to 5 players.
Yeah.
So Lance, speaking of like which version of a movie you see, so has anyone seen the Coda?
Coda?
the
Yeah.
Coda?
Boda?
No, the Coda.
There's a yeah.
Lakota.
No, the
CODA.
No, I know.
Coda.
Like the coat? The
Yes.
like
Yes,
coat
yes.
COTA?
Yes. Yes. So does anyone know what the Coda is?
Well, it's in music terms. The coda.
No, what the movie the Coda is.
No, you didn't ask me that.
He did.
It's a movie you've probably seen, but under a different name. So, The Godfather Part 3.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to
yeah.
you have to go back and watch The Coda, it's called. And it's a recut version of Godfather Part 3. And it's so much better than that.
Yeah, it
Than what
was.
was released.
It's an
I had a
actual
hard
recut?
time. Yeah, I had a hard time remembering the differences between the two. I had to go back and watch the original cut to remember.
Oh, don't even bother going back and watching it.
I was up the mountains, nothing to do, man. No TV, phone, nothing. Yeah, it's my ritual.
86% on Rotten Tomato. Woo!
Yeah, the Dakota cut was much better.
And then I always tell people that if you've never seen The Godfather or you want to watch The Godfather, watch it the right way. Which is you watch the epic
Yeah,
and then you can go watch the Coda after. But the epic is better than watching Godfather Part 1 and Godfather Part 2.
What's the epic?
So the
Ah,
epic
see, somebody was
it's-
gonna have to ask him.
I was
Okay,
like,
so
I
Luca,
was
you've
avoiding
seen
it.
both of them, right?
yeah, well, yeah, the first and second.
Yes. Okay, so you know how in Godfather Part 2 they go back and forth between
Oh yeah, yeah.
being the young Vito and then Michael.
Yeah.
So what they did was they took both movies, and the beginning of the movie is all the De Niro stuff,
yeah.
Okay.
They just
and then
did
the
the
middle of
timeline
the
in order.
movie is Godfather Part 1, and then the end of it is the Michael stuff from Godfather Part 2.
Oh, nice. And they called
Yeah.
it the epic.
The
Called
epic,
the epic. So you get to watch. It starts off in Italy.
Nice, nice.
I'm looking for Vito Andolini.
yeah.
That's awesome. Is it an official release or like someone did that?
Yeah, no, it's an official
No, it's
release.
official. Yeah.
Oh, it's an official. Okay, cool. Nice.
A lot of them guys are going back and doing their versions of what they wanted to do. Stallone's doing that with Rocky.
That was years ago, though. That they did.
Yeah, that one did. Yeah, but that code is not that old. It's within the last
Oh,
couple
the
years,
code is a
right?
couple years.
Yeah.
Francis Ford
Actually-
Coppola went back and re-edited it.
I did that with a song. I re-edited a song.
Did
Yeah, like there's a song I really like, but it was too short, so I kind of extended it and did some changes, put it on YouTube. Maybe I'll do that with a movie or something one day.
Work for Taylor Swift.
Oh.
No, it's EDM. Yeah.
Don't get her
Taylor Swift.
fans.
I don't know any songs from Taylor Swift. I don't know any of them. Not one.
You'd know.
I've
if you
heard
some
a
of them.
few of them. I just don't know what
It's
they
like
are.
Steely Dan.
I don't know the
Yeah.
name.
You know all their songs. You just
You
don't know.
just
it's
don't
by
know the
them.
names.
You
Maybe if
just
I
know-
hear it and someone tells me that's Taylor Swift singing, I'll
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
okay,
Like
I've
you-
heard it.
You'd have to be under a rock not to have heard it just in
I feel
passing or in a lobby
yeah,
or something like at a Target or
yeah,
whatnot.
exactly. Because at my store I have the what's her name, Alexa or whatever. So I just keep playing songs that I like, and then on the way to the store I have a USB with all my songs. So it's really rare I hear radio, but like you said, if I'm shopping somewhere or whatever, it's probably playing somewhere. But we have this weird thing in Montreal where like half the songs have to be in French or something. If it's playing on the radio, there's like
How do you hear any music?
you'd be surprised there's so many
Nah,
A
Quebec
lot of Jacques Brel.
French
I know.
songs. Yeah,
Yeah, hip hop's real big in France. I
yeah,
seen
yeah,
a bunch of stuff on that.
yeah.
That is true.
Crazy laws, man.
I had a pretty
Go ahead.
I had a pretty cool moment today. I got to stop like a cyber attack. So that was neat.
You
Yeah.
stopped the cyber attack?
So I'm now like we talked about it last week where I'm in charge of like dishing out leads to people. And so I get like I go
Oh
through
God,
this
here we go.
No. Like this is I log so I cleared it out. So I have my own special inbox where it's just like if anyone reaches out to the company, like it's like, oh, they fill out the information and bada boom, and I can reach out to them, be like, hey, what's up, and get their information, right? But I logged on today and there's like 444. And I was like, holy
Jeez.
crap, that's amazing. Like I was like, oh my God. Like I assumed like somebody had been holding on to them and dumped them in there. And then I started to go through them and all the names were like just gobbledygook. And like the emails were all like the same email, like the same 10 or 20 emails. And then what was extra weird is it didn't have the IP listed. Most of the time it says IP, like it's just there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it was all spam. And I was like, this is weird. And then I went through it and it was like, I realized it was really hard to like look for the actual leads because I have to like sift through, oh, here's 60 fake that all came in like a 7-minute span. And then, oh, there's the real one. And then they screwed up though. They fucked up Aaron on 2 of them. 2 out of like the 600 I've deleted, they left their IP. And so able to ban the IP because it was like some company out of Bangladesh. But yeah, I was like, felt like a real hero. I was like, oh shit.
Good for you.
Well, because it was so
For a
tempting to
cybersecurity specialist.
just to delete everything. But by going through it like meticulously
yeah.
one by one, I caught like 2 where it's like, oh, you left the IP in there, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty
It's
good.
going
about that.
around for us. Jamie Stegmaier a couple weeks ago. He did a thing on it where he got attacked. Like they went, I don't remember all of it, but they got into his YouTube account and stuff like that, his Gmail account and all that.
Well,
Are
like
you sure that every email you open did not have a little virus that got added to the system?
the only thing that it shows is their name. Because I'm deleting a bunch right now from earlier. The name, their email, and it's the same email. What stage are you in? And then how have you published a game before? So I can't imagine I'm getting anything from just opening them. Because I literally, it's just delete, delete, delete. Oh, there's a real one. Delete. But yeah, it was an unexpected, interesting moment.
How is being a contracted employee?
Here we go.
Honestly, I'd rather be doing just the Kickstarter stuff, but I like what I'm doing. And once again, it's another perspective on the industry. And I honestly kind of like seeing like, because I have like this it's like 6 questions. Like I want to just be like,
Well, time
these-
out. I thought you weren't even doing you were just going to be doing the Kickstarter stuff. I didn't know, like that was all you were going to be doing.
No, we talked about it last week. So now we're going to slowly pivot into that, but I'm dishing out leads now.
He's on leads. He's filtering the leads to the other people.
Yes.
To
But,
say
like,
these people are ready. These people aren't ready.
No, it's not that. It's just which customer service employee are you going to get? You know, you got a 62 card game tuck box. Anybody could do that. Whereas if you've got a Kickstarter with like intricate, like, oh, I want to know the price
Ice
of this,
towers.
that, the other thing. Yeah, it's just you need to talk to a certain person.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now you're the first line of defense.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, hopefully they aren't using VPNs and stuff like that, so they don't
Yeah. Even if they are, I mean, it's a minor inconvenience. Like it's like I've deleted like 800 emails, but it added like 25 to 30 minutes of my time. Like it's not. It's weird. I don't like. It feels more like probably like an attack at maybe from like another manufacturer who just wants to fucking waste our time or something, or like. Because here's the thing: if I would not have been actively checking this, there would have been over 1,000 emails today. Which, hey, I don't know. I don't know why people do what they do, but just thought it was interesting.
Not all heroes wear capes.
ha.
No.
I don't wear pants half the time.
Neither do
Or
I.
should you?
Pants are for chumps.
So, Lance,
Chumps.
can I give my grievance story that I told you already?
Yes, I heard it already, but this is a good grievance.
All
I
right.
like this one.
So I don't know if anyone else where you are, you have access to the Slice app or know what the Slice app is.
Nope.
Pizza app? It sounds like a pizza app.
Yes.
It sounds like a
So
food app. Yeah.
it's basically a way for you to order pizza from any pizza place that's signed up with it, and you can place your order. You don't have to call in and wait for someone to pick up the phone and have to 3 times explain that you only want something on half a pizza or whatever you want.
Right.
So where I am, pizza is pretty bad.
Me too.
Like it may be. There's places that it's fine, but it's not pizza. Like I'm used to pizza, but there are a couple of places that are all right, but they're like 25-minute drive from here. So the other day, took my wife's car to get new brakes done. We went to go pick it up, and then she's like, I don't feel like cooking. We just get pizza. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, all right. So I go on the app and I order from one of the places that we like. Again, they're notoriously slow because they get busy. They're a pretty popular place. They're one of the few restaurants that is open almost every single day, and they're open late compared to everywhere else. But if they get a rush, they're slow. So it's 4 o'clock. I put the order in on the app. The app lets you say, okay, I want this size pizza. I want half of it to be with this, and then the other half plain, blah, blah, blah. I put it in at 4, asked for a 6:30 pickup. I was like, plenty of time.
Plenty.
Plenty of time.
6:30.
Sucker.
6:30.
That's
So I leave my
rush
house.
time.
I leave my house like a half hour, about 6 o'clock. I drive, I stop at the gas station on the way because my wife likes either to have Yoo-hoo or Hawaiian Punch with pizza. That's her thing. So I stop and get the drinks.
Did you like strawberry yoo-hoo?
What?
You like the strawberry?
No, the regular. So I get there and I'm pulling into the parking lot, and it just hits 6:30, and I get the notification on the app, your order is ready for pickup. I'm like, perfect. I walk in, there's like 4 people waiting to pick stuff up in the lobby. And in my head, I'm like, hey, you should have ordered 2.5 hours ago, like I did. So I tell the lady I ordered on the app. She's like, what's the name? I give her the name. She goes in the back. She comes back and she's like, they're a little backed up, so it's not ready yet. I said, okay. And she's like, you want to grab a 2-liter bottle of soda since you have to wait? And I said, okay, fine. I said, I'm gonna go put it in my truck. I'm gonna have a cigarette. She's like, do you want me to bring it out to you? I'm like, no, it's all right. I go walk the thing to my truck, have a cigarette. I go back inside. Now she's not there. There's a guy there. Tell him because I'm waiting. I said it wasn't ready yet. Oh, let me go check. Goes to the back. It's gonna be like 5 more minutes. Okay.
6 hours later.
First of all, the thing I already said. And then again, a half an hour later, my pizza comes out.
Wow.
So I don't know if anyone's ever made pizza in a
It's
in a
not
place that
difficult.
makes pizza, but pizza takes 15 minutes to cook.
Pretty much.
So they didn't even make it until I got there, even though I got a notification saying it was ready for pickup. So again, had I called in, I would have totally expected this. But the fact that the app told me it was ready for pickup. So I said to her, I said, you know, I'm waiting. I understand you guys got busy, but I said, why they update the order saying it's ready? And she's like, we don't do anything with that app.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of them don't. Yeah.
Like you know, if you've ever ordered like from Domino's on their app, it'll say things like, your pizza's being made, it's going in the oven,
Quality check.
quality
Yeah.
check, the driver is on his way. Like you'll get those updates like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, really? So I'm like driving back and I'm pissed off. And again, I'm not pissed at them
Right.
because I'm like, so I go on the app and they have like the customer service button. So I click the thing, person comes on, and I'm like, why would it say, oh, I'm sorry, they got busy. And I said, no. I understand they're getting busy. That's not what I'm saying. Your thing notified me that my order was ready for pickup and it wasn't. Oh, well, I checked. She gets back on like there's like a blank, nothing. I'm like, hello. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I checked with the restaurant to see if they give you a refund, a discount. And I'm like, no, that's not what I asked you to do.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I'm like, no, I need to know why you wasted a half hour of my time because you said it was ready. And then she's like, well, I can't do anything because they already said they weren't going to give you a discount. I said, stop trying to get money out of them. It's just not their fault.
Yeah.
Them being busy is not their fault. I worked in restaurants. I understand this whole thing. The fact is, your app, which is supposed to make this convenient for people to order, does not work if you tell people that orders are ready when they're not. If I got a notification saying it hasn't been prepared or in the oven yet, I wouldn't even bother leaving my house because I know how long it's going to take to get there.
Right.
So back and forth and back and forth, and I'm like, what is the purpose of your product? And she's like, I'm sorry, you had, but they already they said they can't issue a discount. I said they stopped trying to get money from them. But back and forth, I finally she stops talking to me. So I click the thing again. I get another woman. I go through this whole thing again. This woman's actually a little more proactive. And then at the end of the day, they gave me a $5 credit on my on the thing for the next
The
pizza run.
$5 go
Nice.
away.
And
credit.
the 2 liter.
Worth it.
You made out like a bandit.
But wait, so here's the kicker of the whole thing. I get free dessert too next time I go. Only because I got back home, I opened the pizza box up and they made the pizza wrong.
Oh no.
Oh man.
They put the toppings on the whole pizza
Instead of the half.
instead of just putting it on half.
You should know not
So
to confuse busy
I called-
restaurants.
So I called the restaurant back and I said, hi. I said, I just picked a pizza about a little while ago. She said, which one? I was like, Anthony. She's like, oh, hi. And I said, yeah, I'm not driving all the way back, but they made the pizza wrong. They put the toppings on the whole thing. It's supposed to be on half. She's like, oh my God. I said, I'm not driving all the way back. And she's like, I just wanted you to know. She's like, well, next time you come, she goes, I'll put a thing next to your name in our computer. You can get free dessert next time you come. I said, oh, and by the way, I'm yelling at the slice people for you. Because they're constantly always people call in orders and they get there and they're like everyone's sitting there. And everybody knows they're slow. You know, the food's good. It's what you wait for it. You understand that. But it's the fact that the app says it's ready when it's not. I said, so you just arbitrarily said, because I wanted to pick it up at 6:30, you arbitrarily decided it must be done. Like I don't understand.
All automatic, yeah.
Like you order, like if you order on the Pizza Hut app, or even like I've worked in pizzerias. You know, sometimes you call and I'm coming to pick it up. Oh, 15 minutes. It'll be ready because it's slow. And other times you call and it's like, it's going to be an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you have to, something has to work there. You have to say, here's the order. And they should be able in the restaurants or the pizza places, wherever, go in and say, like delayed or sorry or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they should be able to update it and saying, "I'm sorry, there's been, we're very busy, we're backed up."
Yeah. Instead of telling you it's ready.
Yeah.
No, the system just arbitrarily says, "Oh, you wanted it 6:30," and the thing is, like any other time you order on it, it just arbitrarily makes up a number of how long it's going to take. Like if you do the thing, I want it right, right away. And again, because of how far apart everything is up here, almost nowhere delivers around here. So you got to pick it up anyway. But it's like, okay, like I've ordered pizza before and they said, oh, 40 minutes delivery when I live in New York. And then like 45 minutes goes by and you call up and say, hey, just checking. They're like, oh, sorry, we're backed up. He hasn't left yet. Okay. Like, or the guy got there and they loaded him up with 7 deliveries and I'm the last one. You know. So my stuff's gonna be cold by the time it gets here. This freaking thermal bags don't do shit. But I'm like, what is the purpose of this app? I could just call them and they can tell me, oh, it'll be 45 minutes and get there in 45 minutes and wait for half an hour. Like
You know what,
I
know what
paid more by using the app
Yeah, yeah. You're probably better off next time calling them. Like
for the convenience of it.
yeah, yeah. Like I have a Greek restaurant that I ordered at sometimes using Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes or whatever. And every time I go pick it up, the owner kind of gives me shit. He's like, "Why do you do that? Just call me." And like, you know, I get these fees, and at least I'll get your order right. Like he explains to me all these things. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll do that. So from then I started just calling him, and he gets the order right. He gets it on time. He has my phone number, so he calls me back if there is a problem. It's and they get all the money, like so. Yeah, sometimes
So
maybe.
I laughed when Witchacall first started, like DoorDash and all those places like first started because where I grew up in the Bronx, my neighborhood, we had guys who did that.
Yeah.
They
Nice.
literally, you would call them
They're the OG.
and they would go and pick up your food for you. And the best thing about it was you can be like, oh, and yeah, I need a pack of Marlboro Reds.
Yeah.
And they
Nice.
stop and get you cigarettes too.
Yeah,
It was the takeout taxi, it was called.
nice.
There is something similar.
There's a movie right there.
And yeah, call a takeout taxi. Like, oh, I don't want to go out. Okay, call a takeout taxi. And the guy would be like, I don't know, it'd be like probably an hour before I can get there. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm drinking. I don't want to go anywhere. You need anything else? Yeah, you pick us up some Marlboros and we need a 12 pack. Okay.
But do you think restaurants really like they used to have delivery, man? I guess they're obsolete with like Uber and DoorDash and all that. Yeah, I mean, I know I worked at a hoagie shop. We had a delivery guy, and we charge a little bit for our insurance and stuff like that. But
It
and it
depends
was
where
a
you are.
liability.
It depends where you are.
Mhm.
And the thing is now is it like a lot of people don't want to do the deliveries. Like my son used to deliver for pizza place and like people are like, you by the time you get there and drive and you're paying for your own gas. You're driving your own car, you're paying your own gas, and you get there and the guy gives you like $2 on a $45 bill.
Yeah,
Yeah, can't even cover my gas.
yeah, there was that.
Some restaurants still use delivery guys because they don't want to pay those fees and everything.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to be in an area where you have enough people to make it worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one a pizza joint around the corner that does it, but because of that the fees. I try explaining that to Jen. She uses DoorDash a lot just because she doesn't want to go out. But I'm like, we're almost paying double, as opposed to calling the place and going there to pick it up or getting it delivered directly from the place.
John Oliver just did a bit on that this last week, I think it was, and it was it was not good. Not
Did he?
good, and they're not even making money yet. They're
Yeah.
just killing. They're killing everything so that it's the only show in town, pretty much.
And why?
No one's getting this. The only person who's really benefiting is us. But like the people that are making the food and them, they're just it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, but everyone's fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. So here, the rest you can tune out because I'm going to ask Forrest something.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Okay.
We have very differing
All right,
opinions.
good
I have a
night.
feeling.
Whatever. You can leave if you want to. That's fine. But you know what? We talk about lots of stuff, but I gotta know. I gotta know. You know, there's a lot of people saying the WrestleMania 40 was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. As far as WrestleManias go for you, where does it rank?
8.5 out of 10. I thought
No,
overall,
out of all of the time, like, is it the best one of all time?
man, I have to go back and rewatch. I mean, it's so hard now they broke it up into 2 days. You water it down. And I'm not going to count the NXT pay-per-view, which was fan-freaking-tastic. I see why they say it, but no. I think it's top 5 or 10 for me.
They really, yeah, I think so too. They're really hammering that whole. It's a new era. Vince McMahon isn't here. It's a new era. Vince McMahon is no longer here. It's a new era. Just like hammering away at that to drive that point home. What did you think of all the? So you missed my thing I said earlier today, but basically like I'll say this, and I realize that, I will never say 100% certain that they're like, okay, so we're gonna have Seth Rollins break up the Shield by hitting Roman Reigns with a chair like 6-7 years ago, and then basically they have, and so when Roman could win the belt, but he's still pissed off at Seth Rollins for breaking up the Shield all those years ago. He instead hits him with the chair, giving Cody the time to prepare, hit him with the super kick, hit the 3.
That was so dumb. It was a hat on a hat, and they fucking put 2 more fucking hats on it.
Well, no, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Like, that's long-term storytelling, and that's good. That I like that. I like that designation. It's like, look, it's like he at the last second he lost focus. He had the match won, and he was like, but he was still stuck in his craw that Seth did that to him all those years ago, and he was like, you know what? You're the reason why Dean left. You're the reason why Shield isn't together anymore. You're the reason why, I don't have, what I and so hits him with gets and then loses the belt because of it. I thought it was good. So we were talking about wrestling because Forrest is the only guy here that really likes wrestling, and I want to know what his thoughts are on the matches.
Evan, you got an acoustic. I just need you to hit a couple chords every time he opens his mouth. My electric won't go through the mic.
I thought it was a bit much. Like, I was excited to see how they were going to piecemeal it out. I love the fact that it started off with like the actual match. The actual match was good, and then it was like, oh, here's Solo, and then who's going to counter Solo? And I thought it worked well. The Undertaker I popped like I was a kid, but then at the same time, I was like,
All those epic Rock Undertaker matches.
It just felt weird, and I get it. Like he's the final boss, he's the real. It's just it felt
So no, wait. So here's so if I mean I listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts and a lot of and like Brian Alvarez, I trust when he says I knew this. This was you know like Austin was there. And it was supposed so going to that point, it was going to be when Rock came out, it was all of a sudden glass breaks, and Austin was going to come out of the crowd and just and basically beat 10 shades of dog shit out of
see
the
that
Rock.
wouldn't make sense to me that much either. I'd still be like, that's awesome, but it's like,
but they're keeping that in their back pocket because they're basically saying when The Rock comes back, he's going to face Cody, and they're going to have Rock versus Austin. Like it's going to happen again one more time. Like they're going to have a Rock versus Cena one more time. They're going to have a Rock versus Austin one more time. They're gonna have a Rock versus Roman match at some point. I mean, they're just basically they've. And somebody was saying, well, why did Rock come back this time? And it was like, well, because he got $30 million to go sit on the board of directors of TKO Entertainment or whatever. So he was being paid more for these like 3 months or whatever to be a part of this.
And his daughter also got a massive promotion on NXT, which I'm sure was part of that deal.
Yeah,
because she is fucking terrible at her role. She's goddamn bad.
Did you watch Raw for WrestleMania?
I haven't. I'm gonna do dishes and I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's like one of my favorite jokes is like, okay, so kid walks up to his dad. He goes, "Dad, can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" And he's like, "Well, why is my little sister's name Christy?" And it's like, "Oh, well, when your sister was born, your mom wanted to name her." And I said, "That's fine." And she said, "Well, my favorite time of year is Christmas, so I want to name her Christy." And he said, "Okay, that's good." He's like, "Okay, well, could you explain my name?" "Well, I'll tell you something, Raw after WrestleMania." But anyway,
I heard it was a little lackluster. That's what that was the scuttlebutt on Twitter was people like,
so the first 40 minutes of the show was no commercials. They just went and went, and it was they came out, they did the thing, they they hammered home the new era thing. They had a whole vignette thing for Cody to like see his entire like wrestling career kind of stuff, pictures of his dad, things like that, really touching stuff. And then he got to address the crowd, have his shine, and then Rock's music hit, and Rock came out and he kind of just said, and he gave him props. He said, it's like, hey, you won, you pinned Roman, you're the champion, it's like, and he said, but you got to remember the night before, The Rock pinned your ass in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, like, and so Rock's got to go away for a while. You all know that because he's got a movie to do. And he's like, but when I come back, whether you got that belt or not, he says, Rock's coming back for you. And so like, and then he walked and he left, and he handed him something. That was the big thing too. And hold out your hand. And then he reached into his pocket and he took something out of his pocket. He couldn't see it. And he put it in Cody's hand and he closed his hand so nobody could see it. He's like, "You know what that is?" And Cody nodded and he said, "Don't you ever break the fucking Rock's heart again." And then he got up and he left. And so now that's the big thing. Nobody knows what he handed him. So,
and here's my question: true or false? The best moment was CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. I don't give a fuck about that other match. I don't give a fuck of John Cena and The Undertaker. No, that was absolute perfection. Him sitting there mocking him, like that was for my money. Oh my god, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was the most brilliant 5 minutes of WWE I've seen in so long. Like I cared so much more about that than I did anything else almost.
So I mean that was good. I mean it was definitely inspired. It was inspired it was absolutely inspired storytelling, right? And the thing was, it was like if CM Punk hadn't gotten hurt, that match was supposed to be Seth and CM Punk. I mean that was their match, right? And Punk was supposed to win. So my whole theory there is that Drew McIntyre is going to face. Did you see what somebody called Damian Priest? I mean, and they just called. I saw it was on. It's like he's like, and somebody props to my props go out to my bisexual Undertaker, Damian Priest.
Oh my god.
I was like, what?
Dude, I remember when he was in NXT, and I remember there was a news story about him where he got his ass beat by another wrestler, and it was like they were dating, and it was wild. I mean, I don't care. I just thought it was wild, but
no. So that whole thing is what's going to happen there is that Drew's going to face him at Clash at the Castle, and I can't, and that's in June, and I can't imagine you have Drew McIntyre go to Scotland and not win. I mean, can you imagine? The fans will just want to rip them apart. But what I could see happening is him like winning that, and then theoretically SummerSlam CM Punk will be healthy, and then he and CM Punk can go at it for the title. Or maybe they hold off until next WrestleMania, and then CM Punk can finally have his WrestleMania moment. I don't know. You know what was a bad match? Jimmy and Jey Uso. That was just dull.
yeah, I wasn't. I came home and oh my gosh, it was so much wrestling. We watched the NXT pay-per-view, and then we watched night 1, and then we watched night 2 live. And like we fast forward through some, and yeah, I was like, my kids are big like Jey Uso fans, and I was like, eh.
Yeet.
I was also like that ladder match. I was like, what the fudge are those ladders? They look so fake. They look so fake. Did you see that pink popping through? I was like, Jesus! Like,
yeah,
what are you guys
did
doing?
you also see that like at one point when they had to do the big like the dead drop fall away, the two guys climbed the ladder and they jumped off. Like the camera showed the refs holding the bottoms of the ladders.
Yep.
I was just like, that's a bad look.
That's an AEW look right there. Like, come on,
I
guys.
mean, and then I guess and then what was the oh my gosh, is there anybody more over than Bailey right now?
That was a really good match.
That was probably from bell to bell the best actual in-ring wrestling match of the night. I mean, like those two going at it. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, you probably didn't watch it. The NXT pay-per-view, man.
I didn't watch it. I watch it all the time.
What'd you think? I thought it was
It
spectacular.
was good. I mean, I'm not as big of a an NXT mark as some people, but I mean,
Well, I mean,
definitely good.
so much to watch. But man, that triple threat match with Dijak and those 3 big beefcakes, I thought that was great.
Yeah. I just the whole I mean, like that crowd was yelling hey Bailey. They were doing the Bailey chant the entire match.
Yeah.
It never stopped.
It was a great match. I didn't like the end, but it was a great
how over
match.
Bailey was. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I mean, and I do love this incarnation of The Rock. Just the final boss whole coming down and just get that motherfucker out of my back.
Yeah, that was great.
Just they couldn't keep up with him with his swearing. Like they're like bleeping him out like constantly. Get that mother! What the fuck is this motherfucker doing? I'm Sunday to beat up John Cena.
John
that
Cena
was-
needs to let that hair go. He needs to go bald. He just needs to shave it. It looks so bad. That hairline
Well,
just
and
looks
he
so
always pulls it back to cover
bad.
it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that in every single movie he's in, and he's a good actor. He's only getting better too. He wears a hairpiece in like every movie
Yeah.
he's in. So it's like
if he
it-
did
it-
that in wrestling, oh god.
well, yeah, it would fall off, right?
Well, no, it get called out too. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like
No, so I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, yeah, I mean, eventually he'll just have to shave his head and do the thing. But I mean, in every single movie he's in, he has a hairpiece and they, professionally done, and it looks amazing, and you would never notice the difference, right? And he wears a baseball hat out to the ring, and I mean, but that was good. I mean, hey, when his music hits, I mean. You have people they hate on him, but man, that crowd popped for him so hard when he came out.
well, everybody
just-
appreciates him now. We know he's, we don't got much John Cena like real matches left, if any. Like probably like a handful.
Nah.
Yeah, he says he wants to stop wrestling when he's 50. He's 48. So
That's what he
Yep.
says.
I think
They all come back.
there's a really good chance they give him his 17th belt at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Just to give it to him.
I think the only way it doesn't happen is if he says no, and I could see him saying no, honestly.
Yeah, I could see that too. But I
he's
could
such
see
a good
him.
guy.
You just. Oh yeah, I mean totally. He comes out. He runs in. He blasts Sikoa. And then grabs Roman, gives him an FU, goes outside the ring, and that's also long-term storytelling too. And when Sikoa
Yeah.
he let Sikoa just destroy him at that match at WrestleMania last year. But he gets his revenge from Sikoa, gives him the FU on the table. Then he goes back in when The Rock comes out. He goes back in and he goes, "You can't see me." Like you think, oh, they're gonna do like a 50-50 thing, but Rock can see him. No, just Rock blocks it, rock bottom, done. It was just like he was fine. I'll stare at the lights, whatever. I don't know. It's it was a good. It was. I mean, I internally when the bell sounded for Undertaker, I was like, oh yeah. Even though he's like 8,000 years old and he's a shell of what he was.
Yep. Same. I still
He had,
popped.
he
I
had to do one move, and that was it. And Rock jumped as high as he possibly could for him.
I wish it wouldn't have been the American Badass. I know because he was on NXT like a couple months ago. Like he's not. I don't think we're ever gonna see him in his like full garb. But like, it's just a little less hard. It's a little harder to get excited for the American Badass Undertaker. Even though it's the American Badass Undead one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have popped hard if it had been Austin too, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no doubt about
it. He came out and just gave him a stunner, and
Well, I
Yeah.
think Austin's in a lot better shape too. I mean,
Austin isn't. He's 10 years younger than the Undertaker.
that'll do it. That'll do it.
I mean, I don't know. It was good. It was good. It was.
I thought it was great. I was, and after you said you did, you're like, man, I was
Well,
expecting.
that first night was just kind of, I mean, the final match was just like you knew they had to lose, right? I mean, because that isn't a fun story for like the thing. And that final match was good, but I mean, other than that, I mean, that first night it was just kind of like, it was just kind of going, and it just kind of went, and it kept going, and it kept going. And I mean, I thought it was a really nice moment when after Seth Rollins got beat by McIntyre. I mean, when he turned around and he was crying. He was really crying, and he just pointed at Drew and said, "You deserve it, man." Because he knows. I mean, that guy. But anyway, all right. I'm done talking wrestling. We can talk about something else now. But good. I'm glad I'm not in like my weird world of whatever. So stuff is fun. Stuff is good.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I had a lot. It was better than I expected. I was very happy. My kids' excitement raised it because my kids were crazy about it. They loved it.
Well, I'll say this: I'm excited for the next one now. I wanna. I mean, but how soon till Cody just gets boring as the guy who won?
Oh, I think he is boring. I already do. I've never been a Cody guy.
Yeah.
I wanted his story to completely fall. I wanted him to fail. I wanted it to be like he never won another title. I thought that'd been great. I would have loved it. Nope. Complete your story. Fuck off. Your story is going to be United States champion. Let's go. No, I'm excited for the rise of Gunther.
That was a good match.
Oh, it's Gunther. I mean, it's Sami
Well,
Zayn.
and
I mean,
Sami.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how. Like, if that were a bad match, it would have been
Okay,
shocking.
sorry. How did you realize he was popping the top rope neck breaker? When he
No.
was up on the top rope, it was like oh my gosh, he's gonna do the El Generico. I was just like, and like Kill was like, what? And I was like, oh, he's gonna kill him because Gunther is a huge dude. It's like that is a tough move to pull off a top rope brainbuster. I was like, how is he gonna pull this off? But he did, and yeah, and then two haluva kicks to finish him off. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But now what does Gunther do now? He's got to go. He's no. You know what? I bet you money Gunther wins the Money in the Bank.
I want to see him
time.
take out Cody Rhodes. I want to see Cody Rhodes have a real short story. No, I would love it if he squashed him. Just squashed the shit out of him.
Gunther.
Amazing.
He's gonna hold the belt for at least a year.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because there's just so many ways you can go with it too. Here's the thing. I'm interested to see a face Gunther. I don't know what that looks like.
You're bored Evan to death.
All right. Well, has anybody played any board games lately? Ugh.
I got one. That came out a couple of years at Gen Con. Played it once. I didn't actually like it. And we played it again tonight, and I liked it more. It's what the hell is it? It's Dan Eskridge. It's the follow-up to Avalon, Resistance Avalon, kind of. But it's streamlined. Let's see. What the hell is it called? Look it up. It didn't do well. I didn't hear anybody talk about it. Avalon. That's what it's called.
Avalon?
Yeah,
Avalon?
it's not the
Avalon?
Resistance Avalon. It's just Avalon. Wait, no, maybe it is. Wait, is this just a redoing of the Resistance Avalon? Oh. I don't know.
It is, isn't it?
But essentially it streamlined the game by taking out that part where everybody like, oh, here's the people going on the mission, we're gonna vote on it. And that can like slow everything down. It got rid of that completely. Which I kind of like and kind of didn't like. But the games were done in like 20 minutes a pop. 5 players. We ended up playing it like 3 times. It was solid. It got the fucking job done.
Got the fucking job done.
That goddamn job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. And then other than that, we played Letter Jam, which went over well again. We just played that last week too. It's called Quest. It did 3,000. Re-implements the Resistance and the Resistance Avalon. But I think it went over like a wet fart. But granted, it's really hard. It's hard to tell.
You can't control who goes on the missions?
No. But where it gets gamified is everyone gets to be the leader who chooses who goes on the mission one time. You can never do it more than once. But at the cost of they pick exactly who goes. And then at the end, you have I think it's like 2 to 5 minutes. And if everyone who's a good guy points at everyone who's a bad guy, then you automatically win. Like I said, really fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely streamlined the Resistance Avalons. Recommended if you like Resistance or Resistance Avalon.
Okay.
Does playtesting my next prototype count as playing a board game?
No.
That's what I've been doing. It's the worst.
You're really inspiring people to like go check it out. Ah, the newest game I'm building is the worst.
No, playtesting is the
It's-
worst. It's like
It's
so
just,
many
it's
hours.
just the worst. Why am I even talking?
It's like, why am I playing this? I could be playing so many games. Yeah.
It's the worst.
Get jealous. Everybody's playing cool games.
I play cribbage on the phone. Still trying to figure out the point system on that. But and Deep Sea Adventure, I played a couple games of that. The little
Your phone?
Oink game. No, the Deep Sea, I have a physical copy. The Oink game ones. Cribbage
Oh,
was on the phone.
is that the Scout game one, or is that?
It's an older. It's an older one. It's from Japan.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking that Euro game, that really popular Euro game, Underwater Cities. Okay, never mind.
No, this is a
Think of a
quick
different game.
little push your luck game.
Ooh, 829 overall. Deep Sea Adventure. 2 to 6 treasure hunters share the same submarine. Who prevail? That looks fun.
Yeah, it's pretty quick though. Pretty, push your luck game. My hands haven't been working too well with me this week.
That sucks.
It does sometimes.
Nice course. That sucks.
I mean, it's
I'm just lucky they work at all. 5-6 years ago they didn't. Yeah.
that's awesome, man. That doesn't suck. Take it
No.
back. It's great.
I abused them this week though, like I was talking like
Oh, go on.
a lot of yard work and frog womp and
Just treated him like that.
bark words. Yeah, fun stuff.
I just found out one of my games got nominated for most anticipated sports game.
Nice.
Which one?
2016. I didn't even know I had this. The Street Kings. I clicked on Street Kings. I was looking for some stuff and came up on something and it says most anticipated sports game nomination. I don't even know if that's official or not. It's on one of the lists or something.
I got-
Sports game. They considered street racing a sport, I guess.
We consider it illegal, but
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
go to a bunch of them up in Philly down by the airport
Oh,
back
nice.
in like the 90s and all that. Guys there
Nice.
with spare transmissions and shit. It's
It's amazing. I love car meets. Car meets are fun to go to too.
it. Always getting chased by the cops, constant.
It's crazy.
What happens when you break the law?
Usually,
Breaking
I was
the
just a
law,
bystander.
Breaking the law.
Now they actually got people on that too. At one point, they were cracking down on it. They would ticket people bystander watching it. Yeah, as well as the drivers if they ever caught them. Yeah.
Well, I've never been a car guy. I mean, I'm not saying people that are stupid or anything like that. I've just never. I mean, 4 wheels and a seat. That's. I mean,
Yeah.
I drive a piece of shit Dodge Dakota that's nearly 20 years old. The pickup, and I
got you beat.
Yeah.
I got a 32-year-old Dodge Dakota.
Nice.
32.
And I
had a Dakota.
and
They're
I
nice cars.
I don't care. I just it's
Gets from point A to it gets the job
oh
done.
it's got more rust than paint. It's what I mean.
That's beautiful. Mad Max style.
And my son will have it in 2 years.
Put some
Yeah,
miniguns
5
on
years.
I bought mine for two purposes. To go to the dump and to get shit from Home Depot.
I avoided a truck for that reason because I don't want people asking me to go to the dump, to move, or go to Home Depot. I had enough of that shit when I was in contracting.
No, I mean, and my wife, like, she hates because it's like, my daughter has a way better car than I do. My wife has a way better car than I do, and so the
Yeah.
pickup truck, there's no reason to park it in the garage, so it's parked in the driveway, and she's just like looks at the piles of rust that it like leaves on the ground when I drive away. She's like, "We need to get you another car." I was like, "Why? It runs." I just like I drive it to I drive it to take my son to school, and that's pretty much it. That's all it has to do, and then go to the hardware store and get the lumber. That's
He's going.
No, a
Yeah,
car.
I'm the same way. I beat my cars to the ground.
Yep.
beat
Lance,
them into the ground, and then go buy another $1,000 car after you're done beating them into the
No, I'm
ground.
not that.
Yeah.
Lance, you have a liner
Now
in
maybe.
that of your truck?
No, I have a big giant hunk of carpet that I put back there.
Okay, so I have
And
a
a big hole
liner
underneath
line,
it.
What?
which is the funny thing about it is every time it rains, so our driveway is sloped towards the house.
Towards
So
the
if it
house.
rains or it snows, like I have like a puddle
Yeah.
in the back because it doesn't drain out. So when I back the truck out, then like all this water comes flying out the back of it.
I get it. I do. I get it. I've driven nicer cars, and I'm like, wow, this is nice. It doesn't make a bunch of noise, and the windows work, and
It's just
that's-
character.
I get it. I just, a car.
I love my truck.
Mhm.
A car costs so much money.
I
It's
love
just-
mine. I was heartbroken when that got stolen.
I bought my truck. I bought it for the do those two things, but I bought it because I'm not a car guy, but I've actually been able to work on my truck myself
Yeah.
because there's like almost zero
Can't do that now.
electronics in it.
Can't even
Like,
look at a car without a meter
Everything
now.
is right there. You don't have to take 9,000 things apart to get to things. Like I put a new alternator in all by myself, and I was like,
That's fun. No, wasn't it like? Didn't you feel like I don't know? I like working on engines and stuff. It's not for everybody. It's a niche. It's a niche thing for sure.
yeah, no. But I would say if I had to put an alternator in my wife's car, wouldn't do it.
And
There's so much plastic.
You may
and
not
shit.
even be able to find it now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, just change the spark plugs. I can do that right here. I don't do anything out of the way.
Mhm.
I got a
Yeah,
pretty
my
cool
truck was a
moment.
pain in the ass with the spark plugs. I used to have to go in underneath with the back ones.
Oof. the
That was a
back.
pain in the ass one. Yeah. 8 cylinders. Yeah.
Mm.
What were you saying for it?
No, I was just saying I got like a tale of what's the opposite of ingredients? I don't know what the hell they call it, but I took my son to this little campground we got for the first time, my 8-year-old, and he really like he's gonna be an outdoorsman like for the rest of his life. I could tell. Like
Yeah.
we're carving out a trail. Like we've done it. Like it's like we took machetes into the woods and hatchets and we spent about 3.5 hours and he did not want to leave. Like last year he liked it, and this year it's just like, can we add this to the trail? Can we do this to the trail? Like he's like, can we sleep out here in the woods? Like it's like he's so into it, and I'm just so excited. And it's
That's
like,
cool.
oh yeah, because my other son, he does it, and
Begrudgingly.
he enjoys it, but he's a bookworm. It's not for him.
Yeah.
But this one, like he's
What?
like,
What a loser!
Loser.
no. It's just
Mhm.
that's what he likes to do. He'd rather
Yeah.
sit out there and read books than like get the hatchet and like chop down the weeds and like plant potatoes and rip out roots and all that sort of dig a pea hole. Like, but my other son's just like all about it, and it's just it makes me giddy. Like he's got like this pile of stuff. He's like he'll find all this like this rock's gonna be great. This weed's gonna be so good because we can turn it into a rope. And he's got like this huge pile of stuff. And he's like, this is gonna be the workbench. We're gonna make stuff. It's like, yes, like because that's what I used to do as a kid. Just throw me out and be like, all right, go do whatever. Be screwing around the woods.
Just make sure he doesn't lose a leg to a machete. Kabuki Kid says.
I don't know if that's a reference
Technicalities.
to me, but I got a big old scar from I
Life
did that.
experience.
I shot myself with the machete.
Now
Pretty
mine,
easy.
mine went somewhere totally different when you were explaining this. I
Where'd
was
you
just,
go?
I wasn't phased by the fact of Forrest kids uttering the phrase, "This weed is so good."
Oh, that ain't right, Andy.
No, none of that yet. None of that. 8 and 11. I don't think I got that issue for at least another 3 years, hopefully.
3 years.
3 years? You gonna get
High
the kid
school,
till
man.
13, 14?
Holy shit.
High school, dude.
Yeah, you got a point.
My
Yeah.
God.
If it weren't for my stepfather's high school, would have probably been my introduction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started smoking when I got 8th grade, 7th grade, but then again, I was in a rich school, so a little different.
Yeah, it's cool that your kid likes it though. My brother just took my niece out fishing for the first time. She called little Sunny. She's what, 5 now. So he was saying she's pretty much hooked now. Yeah.
Similar, but I took my son this past weekend, and then I took my daughter, my 2 year, she's gonna be turned 2 tomorrow, actually. The first time up to the lake during the eclipse day, and there's like nobody up there, and she saw her first like boat, like an actual boat, like in real life, and she fucking lost her mind. She just could not wrap, like she's like, oh my god, there's no wheels, no wheels. It's like, and now like everything's a boat. Like tonight at dinner, like every piece of food was a boat, and it's just like such a fun age.
Yes.
I remember first time I seen the boat.
Blew her mind because she's got books about boats, but it was just like there it was, like 20 yards away, just fishing right near our pier. There's like one boat, and just blew her mind.
When I was on that cruise the only time, that blew my mind how big them ships are. And I was on a
Oh,
fairly small one. When we got to Cosmo, I seen a bigger one. I was like, Jesus, it's like a
cities.
skyscraper on its side.
What time is it for you guys?
2 a.m. on the dot.
2
Yeah.
a.m.
Almost, yeah,
me too.
almost 1. I'm gonna.
Almost 1. That's 2 for me.
Yeah, it's me, Anthony, and Forrest are on the East Coast time.
Like,
I
What were
posted
you
a
gonna
little
say?
teaser on the chat if you guys want to take a look at it. I don't know if I'm able to I don't know how to screen share. I'll probably screen share all kinds of passwords by accident. But I put it in the chat.
yeah, I'll take a look at it. I don't think anybody. We don't have any reason to do after our Alaboom, do we?
Twisted
No.
metal vibe.
Nobody has to scream to a.
No, I don't have to yell at anyone tonight.
Nope. I got my basketball grievance out of the way. God, that pissed me off.
Basketball
Makes me
grievance?
so mad. So mad. I feel so bad for those kids.
I did have a grievance. I'm trying to remember what exactly happened. I was annoyed at something, and then I got over it pretty quickly, though, so it couldn't have been too bad. But I was really mad for like one of those when you're just stupidly angry, and then you just kind of like, oh well, whatever, no big deal. I can't remember. Yeah, just it could have been. I remember when I said I got to remember this. I got to remember this because I want to.
Oh, you forgot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to share this or whatever.
I had a weird experience. My Jen's brother, stepbrother, had a 60th birthday party, and we went, and his sister, her stepsister was there. I've talked to this woman 6 times in 15 years, maybe. Okay. So we're getting ready to leave, and Jen doesn't know the Irish goodbye. So I'm standing in the corner waiting for her. And she comes up, the stepsister comes up and hugs me, and I'm backing up like, whoa, what is this? You know, like, and we get outside. I go to Jen, like, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't like to be touched by people I don't really know. You know, I don't like to be touched by people in general, but she's like, well, she's getting a touchy feely with her old lady. Like, well, don't make her problems my problem. And it was just weird. Like I said, I talked to this woman 6 times in 15 years, you know? I don't think that was hugging terms.
Was there alcohol involved? That always makes the hugs a
No,
bit easier.
I don't believe she was drinking. I could be wrong, but I don't believe she was drinking. Jen says she did get a little touchy feely when she drank too. Or that might have been the other one. I don't remember. But it's just weird. I was like, how many times have you seen me hug my own sister? You know, let alone somebody I barely know.
I couldn't tell you. How many times do you hug your own sister?
Not much. We're not well, I'm not. My brother is, you know, her and him, or I'm not a touchy feely type of person. I got issues.
Love. What good is it?
Oh, there's other stuff that goes along with that that I'm not going to discuss.
With love?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, with the touchy feely shit.
All right. Yeah, I got nothing else. I feel like I'm falling asleep sitting here. So,
That's like I felt during the dressing conversation.
what?
Which one?
WrestleMania is over though.
Yep.
Just done.
So I had to hear this bullshit for another year.
SummerSlam's the next big one,
Son of a bitch.
but that's not until August.
Yeah. And it's SummerSlam. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. It's no Money in the Bank and it's no Royal Rumble.
Nope.
Because for me, it's Mania, Rumble, Money in the Bank.
So you think when they have that wrestling thing in Scotland, like David Tennant and Louis Capaldi will jump in luchador masks and
I will bet dollars to donuts they will have somebody who plays football, but I'm not talking American football. They will have somebody who plays soccer or football that the crowd will know will jump in.
It's an easy pop. I mean, it's such an easy pop.
Yeah, I mean,
can get
the
Jackie
American
Stewart.
audience will be like, "Who the hell is this guy?" But
they can get Jackie Stewart to jump in.
you know what the big so okay. I said I was gonna be done, but I gotta tell Forrest, just roll your head around this. The big theory is that why Damian Priest is gonna lose the belt. You know who's gonna betray him? And everybody's like, oh well, it's easy. It's Judgment Day. The person that will betray him will be
You don't think Dom, right?
well no, everybody thinks it'll be why
Finn?
can't I Finn Balor.
The
will be
Prince?
one. Yeah. But no, what'll happen is it'll be Brown Bunny.
Oh God.
the hell,
Oh
Anthony.
God. Don't get me wrong. Wait, we're talking about the rapper, right?
Yeah.
He showed out. Like I thought he was great. But
When he
come
pulled
on.
off the Canadian Destroyer
That was
on the outside of the ring.
no, that was great. No, I'm not knocking the wrestling at all. But come on. Come on. Yeah, there's so many other wrestlers who could like come on. Come on. Get out of it with that. I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching the Alaboom. Get some rest. Stay